boys, we're back, baby! That means it's finally match time! We've got the grand finals of Stage 3 coming your way, with the winner walking away with $100,000 in their back pocket. Second place, 25 grand. Not a bad day work, but this is gonna be a great series across the board. We got Bren, we've got Sideshow, and fellas, these are the juggernauts. You look at the overall season record. It's #1 in the New York XL versus #2 in Boston. You look at the Stage 3 records. #1 in Boston, #2 in the New York XL. These teams have some history, and we've already seen a good match between the squads.
Yeah, I have been hyped for this game for so long. I had a feeling that the finals is going to be sort of like this here. There's going to be New York versus Boston, and I've been marking it on my calendar, waiting for it to tick down, because I honestly feel like this is going to be some of the most quality Overwatch we've seen in such a long time. It is going to be fantastic if both of these teams play to their potential.
Josh, the last one went all the way to a Game 5.
It did, and Boston Uprising so good on Assault, they were able to take the win on Volskaya, and then they lost Numbani and Ilios, but came back when it was 2-1 down to get Junkertown, to get Oasis, and steal it 3-2, and I don't think NYXL were expecting that. Boston then, off the back of that, able to go to an undefeated Stage 3, which NYXL has failed to do for Stage 1 and Stage 2.
New York is coming into this match as the reigning champions from Stage 2. Boston in their first playoff. And to get the thoughts of coming into this match, we got a chance to talk with Zoe. Zoe talked with our team. She's down on the floor right now. Zoe, how do the players feel?
Thank you so much, Pocket. Yeah, you know, usually we always try to hype every match up as this is a revenge match, this is a grudge match, this is really important for the team. More often than not, the teams actually don't feel that strongly about those kind of things. But in this very instance, NYXL wants to crush their opponents. This is a massive grudge match for them because they wanted to get that clean 10-0. And the only team who took actual match from them was the Boston Uprising, who then in turn got that 10-0 streak. So this match means a lot to NYXL, and they're eager to take it.
Looking for some revenge in this one. If we look at the previous matchup, guys, let's talk about the players who have had the biggest impact. What do you expect to see today? Who are the players to look out for?
So for me personally, we've mentioned it, Striker versus Sabiobi. This is the matchup that I am really going to be looking at closely, because these two guys, Striker, the MVP of the match that we just watched, Gladiators versus Boston. Now we're looking at Sabiobi as well, and how do they compare? Well, these two guys are really some of the best tracers in the league. And now looking at these statistics in the previous matchups, look at the percentage of pulse bombs attached compared to Striker to Sabiobi.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
That is unbelievably different. Look at the difference in it. It's ridiculous.
And look at that eliminations compared to deaths. 20.5 eliminations per 10 minutes for Striker compared to only 14 roughly for Sabiobi, and died almost half as much. Absolutely ridiculous play from Striker. And when you've got a Tracer winning those duels and being able to go on a tear like Striker was, that puts a big blow for the NYXL, because they're used to Sabiobi doing that for them.
And talking about the Tracers here, Josh, we've seen SBB play two different styles. One where he goes after your healers, the other one where he helps target the tanks, with Striker in the mix. Do you have to play purely on the Tracer today, or how do you go about your game if you're SBB?
I think if you're Sabiobi, so previously, throughout the whole of Stage 3, we have seen him going for the backline, going for those supports. I think in this matchup in particular, he's got to try and deal with Striker, because we saw in the LA Gladiators match what happens when you leave Striker unchecked. He's a menace, he's everywhere, he just demolishes you.
I'll give you a hint what happens, mate. 1 death and 23 elims. Like, that's exactly what was happening in both the matches where they left him unchecked. You cannot leave Striker alone, or it's going to be bad business for your team.
Well, Striker was the MVP for Boston earlier, but when it was New York on this stage, it was all about Meko. Let's take a look at the Divas. We got Note going up against Meko. As we dive into the numbers here, you got some pretty good numbers from Note. How do you feel Meko compares?
So here's the ranks of how they compare with all of the divas in the Overwatch League, and you can see the difference in styles. Note much more aggressive, gets more damage done, he's got the similar final blows, but he's dying more often. He's got more deaths than Meko does and gets less time alive. But he's able to contribute so much to those offensive dives that Boston Uprising are so good at. Meko, he's one of the best defensive divas, the best defensive diva for my money in the league, but Note is aggressive. Note is the guy that is the spearhead of their pushes, that sets things up and is able to pick guys in the back line. That's who they have to watch out for, to be leading those pushes. If you're NYXL, you're trying to take out Note.
Let's take a look at the maps here for the grand finals. Remember, it's a best of 5, meaning the first one to get 3 wins walks away with the stage 3 titles. Josh, walk us through.
Yes, well, it's difficult if you're the Boston Uprising until you get to Volskaya. New York XL are undefeated on Route 66 and they're favored on Nepal. But if Boston Uprising can win on Volskaya, there is the potential for a reverse sweep. Numbani would be difficult, but if they can take Volskaya, where they are unbeaten, then Numbani, then Junkertown, where they're also very good, they're feeling good about this match. But it's about whether or not they can last for the first 3 maps. Because if NYXL come out and they beat them on Volskaya, they're looking good for a 3-0, which would not be representative of how close these teams are.
We've seen reverse sweeps in the final before. In fact, it was New York reverse sweeping Philly to take the stage 2 titles. Let's get the official prediction as we start with Josh once again. Where do you go today? Is it the New York XL, or do we have a new reigning champion in the Boston Uprising?
I think what's going to happen is that NYXL take this one 3-1. But as I was saying, if Boston Uprising can win that game on Numbani, it could easily be a reverse sweep for Boston. It's all about that 4th map Numbani, assuming that Boston can win on Volskaya. But I think NYXL, they've got the experience in these playoff games. They look so good at the moment, they've got to be the favorite.
Brent, who's the best Overwatch team on the planet right now?
Oh my goodness, it's so incredibly close between these 2 teams. I've had Boston fanboys by the swarm at me on Twitter saying to me how incorrect I was when I predicted Gladiators. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm going with NYXL for this one. I think that they're gonna have it to take it away from Boston. And in the past, I have discredited Boston. You know, I've slept on them. But in this match here today, I believe that they are outmatched when it comes to NYXL. They are almost a new and improved sort of Boston Uprising in almost every aspect of their general gameplay and how they actually play the game itself. So NYXL for me, Bucket.
We've got both of our analysts going with the NYXL. We got 2 great teams, an amazing audience. We got Brett up there who's on active duty, came out from Japan to watch this game live. Let's give him a good one. Make some noise, LA. It's time to get the party started. Let's meet our players and head it over to Malik.
Thank you very much, Bucket. Blizzard Arena, make noise one more time for both of these teams. Make some noise, come on. These guys worked so hard to get here today. All right, yeah, make some noise. Now, our first team holds the overall best record in the Overwatch League. They're the only team to make it to the playoffs every stage and the finals every stage, and they're currently your reigning and defending Stage 2 champions. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the stage the New York XL.
The man is New York. So one way or another, you want to be the Stage 3 champions, you got to go through the New York Excelsior.
And here is your New York starting lineup. Up first on attack, Sabiel B. On main tank, Mono. On off tank, Meko. On support, some know him as Fragiata, Jonak. Also on support, Ark. And last but not least, Big Boss Pine. Give it up for your NYXL. All right, guys, have a seat. Give it up for NY. All right, our next team coming into the league was considered bottom tier. But through all the trials and tribulations and controversy, they have battled their way here to the Stage 3 finals, and they have been red hot. And also, they're the first team ever to have a perfect 10-0 stage. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the stage the Boston Uprising.
What a statement from the Boston Uprising after everything they've endured.
Somehow the Boston Uprising can turn this around.
Can they do it? Striker really coming through from his team in the end. Oh, and knocked off by Gamsu.
Boston Uprising right now continue the streak.
Undefeated throughout the stage.
Unbelievable!
And here is your Boston starting lineup. Up first on support, Kelix. Also on support, Neko. On off tank, Note. The most slippery tracer in the league, Striker. On main tank, Gamsu. And on attack, the made man Standan, Mistakes. Give it up for your Boston Uprising. All right, gentlemen, have a seat. You're good to go, you're good to go. The players, they are ready. Blizzard Arena, are you ready? And I hope you're ready at home. It's getting ready to get crazy in here. It is time for our Stage 3 Finals, $125,000 up for grabs. Make some noise one more time, and let's get into the madness with our casters, Similar and Hex.
Thank you, Malik. And yes, this is it. Hex is what we've all been waiting for. This is the match. Undefeated in Stage 3. Boston Uprising going up against the reigning champs. You couldn't ask for a better finals.
These two regions, as far as sports-wise, have a long rivalry. You got Red Sox, Yankees, Giants, Patriots. Add NYXL versus the Boston Uprising to that, because this is going to be a massacre, a bloodbath. It's going to be so fun to watch.
It's so good. I'm just getting goosebumps. This is, we're dressed for the occasion. This is what we've all been waiting for. And the crowd is so hype. All the fans here in the Burbank Arena. So cool. I love it. And all of the 6 signs as well, guys. Stepping up your game day after day.
It's been great. Now, to get into the guts of the match, I tell Sideshow all the time, you're the smartest guy I know, because I always agree with you. I always agree with him 100% of the time. I think the first 2 maps generally favor NYXL. Volskaya, Boston's been unbeatable on it. They can pull that map off, and I think we're going to see it start changing there. But the first 2, they can sneak a win out. Then I start favoring Boston in this matchup. I don't care who wins. This is going to be some great Overwatch. These have been the best 2 teams in the league overall, then the stage. And I think a lot of it will come down to the Widow battle. Big Boss Pine versus the up-and-comer Mistakes. He was the big question earlier today. If Mistakes had a bad game against the Gladiators, they could have got crushed. He's just got to hold his own against the big boss.
And Striker came out. He had a bit of that effect face going on right there. He was here to do some work.
It's so
he was
funny.
here to inflict the pain.
People had been trying to convince me all day, like, the Gladiators have a good chance against Boston. Look at this map pool. I'm like, have you seen Striker play? That man will put them on his back. He's got a refuse to lose kind of mentality. This is a map that he took 1v3s on to save his team's life and overtime on it. We're going to kick it off on Route 66, Rawhide.
No, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. It's all right. It's all right. It's just the beginning. It's just the finals here. It is good. It's going to be Boston Uprising as the home team. Starting things off on the defense, New York Excel on the offense to kick things off here on the first map of this finals. Just to remind you all, it's the first team to win 3 maps. They will be crowned champs. So, different format from what we usually have in the league. Here, every map really matters. You're going to be battling through and through.
We're in a best-of-5 situation. That's why every map is so critical here. Now, on this map, the records coming into it, NYXL at 9-2, Boston 4-6, so you would have to give the favor to NYXL. And this is just Pine's home map. He put on a show. He was doing 360 headshots. It's absolutely putting his style onto opposing Widowmakers. Mistakes has his work cut out for him. That's the battle you have to watch early on. And then on the side, Striker versus Sabiobi. They're very different stylistically when it comes to the Tracer. Striker will farm up his Pulse Bomb. Early shot already onto Pine, though. Very interesting.
Ooh, yeah, there was a Zarya bubble and everything.
Yeah.
Quick change here and as well, because Mono looks like he's going to be staying on the Orisa. So we're already getting a little variety here coming out here from New York Excel. Some of the strategies perhaps that they've been holding in the back pocket for just this day.
Well, you saw in Junkertown, they ran Hanzo all the way through third point, so they've absolutely been saving strats. That's why maybe their performance this regular season stage was not as dominant as it had been previously, but they're here now, still at the top of the league. Pine peaking. And I think that a lot of this stuff is going to throw Boston off. This is not what you expected. You don't see this on Junkertown.
Yeah, how are you going to prepare for this? It's all about adapting now on point, and that's what I love about these sorts of situations, these sorts of maps. You really see who is the team that is the best on the day, and Gamsu has fallen already. No surprises, Jonak to kick things off. Mono finds Nako as well. 2 quick kills coming in here for the New York Excel. That is definitely going to set them up nicely here for this first point.
It was a super underwhelming Widow battle, but they just walked the cart in. They put Orisa and Roadhog there. No one was able to get onto that, and we'll see if Boston wants to try to adjust to this. This is a tough composition to try to dive. You can dive in Orisa. They have an Orisa of their own now as well. So some changes coming in. Finally, some new stuff, and Pine starts the show off.
Yeah, beautiful work there, the Halt combo. We've been seeing these Orisas get so clever. The coordination has to be on point, but that Halt is going out. You're getting Junker Vines in there. You're getting shots from Widows. They're taking advantage of it, and well, so far this is Boston Uprising on the back foot, but they still have time to turn things around here. They are 6v6.
Pine's waiting it out right now. He's going to have Infrasight as well, should he so need it. They're still just putting progress on the card. Yet Boston has yet to dive onto them. There's a nice kill. Takes Pine down. See if they can get a shield in front of him and maybe try to bring him back to life. They will just wait for him.
That was bold. That was bold. Pine's like he forgets that the whole other rest of the team of Boston, yeah, they happen to be standing 10 feet away from you, Pine, but he still wants to just dominate mistakes. Not going to find the stick save, but he will get punished by Gamsu.
A rare miss on that pulse bomb. He is at the top of the league when it comes to tracers who kill supports. On the other side, Striker farms up tanks and gets bombs of his own. Neko reminds people that there are 2 Zenyatas in this game. Of course, going against Jonak here, but a nice stabilization. That was really the first fight of the game happened. Boston finally chose to engage.
Yeah, taking the fight to him. Yeah, we'll get the bird's eye view here. I like it. Transcendence to lead the fight as they dive in on those Orisas. And the perfect play here from Neko. Finds the shot at the end on Mono. Well, you know, to be fair, Node had done a lot of work on him by then, but the key kill on Jonak to kick things off. High ground now going to be occupied by Boston Uprising. Oh, and the self-destruct coming in from Node, just chucked right over the edge. Takes down Mono's supercharger.
They might be able to res this, but you've got Node over there to try to make them think twice about it. Mistakes able to take down Mono too. Both tanks out of the mix. NYXL is probably going to back off of this. And now with Jonak down, you have to completely reset. Good defense.
Pine is winning this Widow v Widow duel, but it's almost happening on its own. It's almost of no consequence because the rest of the fight is going Boston's way. And here we go, Striker now the one to step it up. The kill on Arc and the pulse stick onto Pine. They've ground to a halt here, New York Excel. That payload hasn't made much progress going towards the second point.
Boston's so patient on their defense. They decide when they want to fight. You can't really pressure them, and that goes against, you know, the style that a lot of teams would do. They'll dive on you and they'll just go after it. But Boston's been patient. New York runs a similar style. This has been very interesting. The first switch does come in. Now they're going to get off of the Orisa. They're going to put Mono onto the Winston instead. So a little more dive concentrated. Pine's being pressured in the back by Node. Meanwhile, mistakes taken on Arc. That's the one kill in a Widow that can just end a fight. Almost immediately end a fight because there's no resurrections available. They're going to have to back out of this one.
And having to play patient. They're kind of separated here right now as well. That's a bit uncomfortable here for the New York Excel save. You'll be sneaking some meters on that payload as the rest of the fight goes through, trying to join up with his tanks. Mono will find the DMAC on Node, and they're following kill as well. Saviobi throws the pulse in, and it's a wipeout. Boston Uprising, they're getting run over.
There's the horn, team kill. New York is going to walk this one towards second point here. The cart was a little bit far away, so it's slow going even with the 3 people on the cart. But I think that Boston is the type of team that might not re-engage this one, but it seems like they're posturing up in the corner. Of course, going to be met by tanks.
They're just going to go diving straight in. Gamsu back on his Winston. We will have Kelix flying high right now with the Falcon Wings out. Getting the chains in, and well, Pine still just free to take all the shots that he could possibly hope for. Neko gets the trance in there under pressure from Saviobi, and you can see Saviobi instantly calling it out to his mates. They're adjusting on the fly. Mego with the self-destruct into the deep, not going to find any targets. Yeah, this is just out-and-out chaos. Fights happening all over the place.
Boston has to win this fight. They committed so much to this. Both support ultimates came out. Jonak just now pops his Transcendence in response. Kelix out of the mix really hurts, and that Tracer's super low as well.
So they need to get some kills. They need to get some kills quick here. Boston Uprising to turn this around. Pine gets overwhelmed, but you lose Neko as well. You don't even have any heals now for the Boston Uprising. Kelix is still running back from spawn, and New York Excel, the focus fire is too good. Boston Uprising cannot withstand it. And it will be a second point picked up with 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the bank for New York.
Another full team kill, extremely decisive there. Great patience from Jonak. What he was hoping for actually was that they wouldn't even have to use that Transcendence. It was in his pocket the entire time. Boston rolled in with both Transcend and Valkyrie to initiate that fight, and New York just waited it out until the last second. Now, not a whole lot on the field. We do have Infrasight pop for Boston. All the information of where the other team's position is now available for everyone on that squad.
Exactly, they can see through walls. So that'll be nice for a little while longer here. That is going to prompt New York Excel to try and play a little bit more patiently. Neko takes advantage of it. Pine taking a risk. Gets an orb to the face. He's laid low back to spawn, and that'll slow things down further here for New York Excel.
Pine with the peek, although spawn is pretty close for the attackers here. Striker messing around on the back line. He's going to get that pulse bomb up. He's looking for this Mercy. Mercy almost just walked right into it.
That was definitely... We get to see the outlines of the wall. The players definitely do not, so... A little bit of a moment there, perhaps, for Striker, where he would have been grinning ear to ear. Instead, he's going to have to back off and look for a different way in. Tries to go for the big play. He's pinned Pine in the corner, pours the pressure on, looking for the kill, but Pine will get pocketed by his healers. He will survive for a little while longer. In the meantime, the fight continues here for Boston Uprising as Gamsu just goes charging onto the payload.
It will push him all the way back. Valkyrie has been popped during this time to keep everyone healthy. There's been no kills thus far. Note falls very low. Now Gamsu's going to pop his Primal Rage to continue to stall this one out.
He's splitting them up. Saviobi finds the kill on Neko, however. That can slow things down, though. We will get the res in from Kellic, so they're brought back up to full strength. Boston Uprising really trying to stick this fight to him. Pine is dead. Might not be able to bring him back.
So far, they've kept Pine in check. This is not the enormous 2 and 3 kills in a row that you see from Pine. That's all Mistakes really have to do. I don't expect him to outwidow Pine. I expect him to at least check him and let him not run wild over this team.
They're getting quite a bit of progress now on this payload, though. 3 players on it means that it is going to be moving quickly towards this third point. You can see it, that yellow dot on the ground. So, trading kills back and forth. Boston Uprising now with a bit of an edge when it comes to rezzing players. They'll be able to get back into this fight sooner than the New York Excel heroes who die.
That's the last push. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock. Arc is nearing a Valkyrie, and there's a self-destructive out on the field for him. Meanwhile, Boston's going to have both support ultimates, so New York is going to have to find a kill through all that healing if they want to push this one towards the end. It seems like they're regrouping, trying to set up a play here. They've got a Winston on the right that might be to set up a dive flank and see if he can meet Meko in the middle.
Yeah, Mano and Saviobi moving together as a unit right now, and they are going to try and get into the back line. Mistakes getting overwhelmed immediately here by Saviobi. He's trying to stay alive a little while longer. He'll get brought back up by Kellic, though. And in the meantime, the fight continues. Note with that deep self-destruct, not going to find any kills. Meko, however, will have one of his own on the payload, and Jonak decides now's the time to trance.
Meko gets a couple meters too, just in Baby Diva mode. They have to be very careful to keep some bodies on the cart. This fight is happening all over the place. Saviobi's trying to keep his backline alive. Oh, the clip onto Neko, that is huge.
That could turn the tide. No longer a Discord orb here to make life difficult. And Kellic's under pressure. Kellic can't make it out. Pine picks him out of the sky. They still have Gamsu, Striker, and Note alive here. Boston Uprising trying to take the fight to him on the point. They're doing a good job. Pine and Mono are out of it. These are valuable kills. New York Excel need to keep them alive, but they're getting overwhelmed. Striker right now running amok. Saviobi sneaking some more meters at the end, but it's not going to be enough. There will be no third point for New York, but they have made very good progress.
If this one ends up being super close at the end, which I think it might be, think back to the moments where the self-destruct comes on the cart and Baby Diva's pushing it. And the last 2 or 3 meters that Saviobi was able to sneak in there at the end. He knows he's not winning that fight. He's only 1 tracer, but the rest of the team's occupied. He backs it in about 3 more meters. Good job for him, and those could end up being critical.
Got the Boston chant going on right now from the fans. Shout out to Squash, the man who is here. Yeah, again, of course, I'm not even surprised. But it is going to be a bit of a discussion now here for New York Excel. They did get bogged down a little bit on that second point after it started to look good, and then weren't quite able to pick up all 3 here. So a little bit of a, let's say a slower start for New York here to kick things off in this grand finals. Boston Uprising showing that they just need a little bit of time on that first point. Shake off the nerves, get the adrenaline down. I mean, you've got a massive crowd here making a lot of noise. That's definitely going to mess with your head a little bit, but they did manage to stabilize fast enough to stop New York from running away with this first point offense.
Right. When you get into situations like this in the playoffs, a lot of it comes down to, I don't really look at the stats or map records. A lot of this, especially first couple maps, are all about the personal performance. Can you get over your stage anxiety? Because the pressure going to wear on you. Now that that might be out of the way, I mean, coming into it, you'd have to give New York the advantage. These guys have played a little bit more live on land before, but we're in stage 3 now. But the pressure absolutely mounting. Boston was very smart in how they responded to that Orisa pressure, Orisa Roadhog earlier. Because they didn't respond to it. They're like, I don't know what to do this, so we're not going to feed. So they pretty much just gave them first point. And then they made the adjustments. Let's get an Orisa of our own. Let's set up here. So very smart there. Boston's a super patient team. Despite being somewhat a dive-oriented team earlier in the season, I just think that they're so smart and they're so well coached, and that's why they're in the position they are.
It's a patient Uprising, Hex. It's not a chaotic Uprising. This isn't a riot in here.
This is not like torches and pitchforks. This is handing out leaflets and pamphlets.
Exactly, but it is getting the job done, or at least let's see if it will. They are now on the offense. Boston Uprising having traded sides. New York Excel on the defense. Bit of a more standard approach here from New York Excel on the defense to kick things off. Well, that's definitely not part of the plan, though. Pine, bullet to the face with Mistakes in the strong start.
Brought back to life. Mistakes is holding his own in this battle right now, and Pine is so hot and cold sometimes. We've seen him absolutely dominate maps, this one in particular. He's been on a great streak lately, and I thought that there might even be a point today where Pine forces them to not play Widow, but it is not even near happening yet.
No, trading body shots right now, tit for tat. Without Mistakes now with the presence on the point itself. Mono going to decide to go ahead and start contesting here. His teammates aren't quite in position to back him up, and why? Because Striker's diving into the back line. Arc is dead. Striker with another kill onto Pine. Mono and Pine trying to bring it back, but it might not be enough here without that Mercy and the healing throughput, and more importantly, the res. As you can see, Nako's brought back to life. It's looking good here for Boston Uprising on the first point.
Sabiobi goes down, and he was on the ground trying to help out a little bit. Jonak and his Winston are still up top, going just to touch, but a beautiful transcend at the end. Saves Mano's life.
There's just, I mean, how do they hang in here, New York? You're thinking that Boston have got everything going their way, and no, it's not happening. Mono and Sabiobi have something to say about it, as well as Jonak.
It's just ridiculous. Sabiobi providing constant pressure on the ground, so everyone's looking at them. Meanwhile, Jonak and Mano are setting it up over top. They get that last bit in that they need to get the Transcendence going. I mean, he already popped a Transcend already. Meanwhile, his counterpart, Nako, 68% there.
Nice headshot there from Pine, and now they're going to get the see-through walls. Filling out, a little bit of a poke here to the high ground, and Pine continues to find these angles to take shots with. Striker kind of taking it around. He is going to be able to get the pressure here on Mono, but Mono decides to go primal and punch Nako in the face. He's gone. Pine now the one who's getting the hurt, though, but we, of course, will have Arc not too far away. He'll keep his sniper alive.
Mono completely disrupting everything, and with Calyx falling, that might be the end of this. They'd already used Valkyrie in this as well. Nako could come back in. We'll have Transcendence ready. Striker is being escorted out. They will push them all the way back, especially with Note falling. They have to regroup, and this defense has looked much better on first point than the other side of things, where New York just walked it to first.
Yeah. Having a different strategy to throw there for New York just caught Boston off guard. Right now, this is kind of what we're expecting to see from both of these teams in terms of lineups. And so, New York not the ones caught off guard. They're playing to their strengths here. They're finding the kills. Jonak reduces Gamsu. Arc will get caught by Striker, though, with a pulse kill. And yet again, we will still have Calyx surviving. Sabiobi trying to come up with the hero play. It's not going to happen. We've lost Nako, though, and Sabiobi just continues to pump out damage.
This is going to be a grindy fight yet again. Similar situation, but this time Sabiobi falls, and there's not going to be enough to help him out. The tanks will fall as well in short order, and Boston will clean up that fight and grab first point here. After a pretty stout defense, only a minute left before they grab it. We'll get an extension on that clock on Route 66. 3.5 minutes now to get it the second point.
At some point, we're going to have to figure out when did Arc manage to sneak a final blow in here. We've been seeing a few battle Mercies these days at Hex. It's getting a bit more common for the Mercies to take the fight, get the pistol out.
We've seen Neptuno. Mistakes has been crushing Pine on this offensive push. He got him twice to open up fights. He got resurrected both those times. He gets him again. And Stanislav Danilov, the best name in all of the Overwatch League, is absolutely stepping up to the plate on Mistakes. When I saw this map pool and kind of theory crafting that New York was going to have to play Boston, Mistakes is kind of the question mark still on this team. A newer addition's had to play a lot, but he is absolutely going toe-to-toe with Pine.
Yeah, you know, he stepped up. He stepped up big. That is big for Boston as well. The fact that they are able to rely on him and Striker to go up against the best DPS in the league and hold their own. And while he is, I mean, he's performing better than Pine is right now in terms of stats. Now it's about winning these fights. They are getting progress on this payload. New York need to remember to keep a body on there contesting it because Striker is just constantly sneaking it forward. Sabiobi will be the one. There it is. Nope, finds the self-destruct kill on Mono. Striker jumps on Jonak as well. And Striker with the double. It's looking good now. They are going to make a lot of progress here, Boston Uprising, towards this second point.
They're going to push them all the way back. New York probably waiting for the rest of them to re-engage. Mistakes with a very cheeky angle, knows that that's where they want to come in. He's trying to take that angle away. See if New York wants to come back in. They did retreat with Sabiobi and Arc, so they do have bodies, and they will re-engage this one. Boston just backs up. They only leave their diva on the cart. They want to prevent other people from coming in, but Gamsu stuck.
Stuck and dead. Striker trades it with Jonak, but we lose both tens in just a moment's time. Arc has got the wings out, though. He might be able to get a res off on one of his teammates. He is looking for it right now, at least with the heals, and he just slowly drifts down out of range. That's awkward. He will get caught. And it will be Boston Uprising right now, finding an edge yet again in this fight. Note is just hanging in there, but he's got to self-destruct and Sabiobi, the last man alive. Jonak trying to float his way back into this fight. He will be able to delay it just a little bit longer.
Well, the problem is Sabiobi's still alive, and they will get reinforcements much quicker here. Jonak will fall as Striker is still mucking about. Note so low, he's got the baby blaster out, but he gets some work done.
Oh man, Note, let's go. Another kill. We got the DJ in here.
Wow, amazing stuff from Note to stay alive. You got to give his supports credit there too, because even as Pilot Diva, he was getting pocketed. That blaster does a decent amount of damage. 220 to push it past to that yellow box of victory on the ground. See if they can set it up. I've been so impressed with Mistakes. He's just outputting more damage than the other Widows today. I think at one point he had 5,000 more damage than Shore4 in their semifinal. He's got more than 1,000 more damage than Pine right now, and that adds up.
Quite finding these shots, that duel, man. Who's gonna be quick? Mono goes leaping into the fight. Lots of ultimates here for New York to work with. Mono getting focused down, and he can't even get the primal off in time. Overwhelmed instantly. Sabiobi backing off, but they do manage to trade with Kellick's dead. It will make things a little complicated here for Boston Uprising. Gamsu figures that out. He gets shot in the face by Pine.
Gamsu with a re-engage was a mistake, and he is punished for it. Pine and Sabiobi combined for a couple. Striker will take out his counterpart, but a little too late. Sabiobi will be back in the mix. And I like this positioning a lot from New York. Don't give him this corner for free. It's one of the last great defender's advantages you have on this map, to be able to have that artificial high ground up the hill. And they're doing a good job of watching these flanks too.
Man, working well together, Pine and Mono, making sure that they shut the door on Mistakes. Not gonna let him get in here for free. Striker, see, working around on the edges. Payload making progress though. New York, they need to get a body in there. Mono finally realizes it. No, point blank is just gonna overwhelm Pine. Nako, however, gonna get zapped by Sabiobi and Mono. And Mono, he heads to the primal this time around. He held onto it long enough, he will survive. Continue taking the fight to Boston Uprising, who are trying to stick together right now as a unit, trying to support each other, but they're still getting overwhelmed. They're getting pinned against the wall. Mistakes, no way out.
That was a fight that Boston needed to win. Again, they committed a great deal to that. The Primal Rage, Valkyrie had come out as well. And now they have one good push left at 40 seconds on the clock, and they're gonna have to push it in nearly everything up for NYXL. Infrasight should get there. Both support ultimates being the deciding factor in this one. Striker, if he can get to the back line and deal with something here, that would open up a huge opportunity for Boston to push this through.
Now we got 25 seconds on the clock now. Do or die time, and well, you're gonna do a whole lot of dying, Boston. 2 quick kills for New York. One of them will be rezzed up by Kellick, but that's the res gone now for the rest of this fight. Self-destruct thrown in here by Note just to get that fresh mech, and he will get the knife. Jonak with the headshot. Lays him low, and right now New York are looking fantastic. Arc has gone for the Valve, but we still have Jonak's trance as well if they need it. But New York, they're just finding all of the kills right now, one after another. Sabiobi is running rampant.
Jonak will be able to hold on to that transcend all the way back to spawn unless Note can come in here with a hero play. Still just holding on to this. It's going to be desperation time for Boston. I don't see it happening, barring amazing heroics. Not gonna get there. NYXL take a 1-0 lead in the Stage 3 finals.
Keeping it together, better ult management at the end, better prioritization, finding the kills. Boston doing the best that they can. Not a map that they're favored on. You can tell a little shaky at times, but still a solid performance to kick things off here in this grand finals on the first map versus the top team in the league. Boston now, it's gonna be a chance to bounce back here on map 2. That'll be coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Let's get it.
We got a packed house here in the Blizzard Arena.
It's time. Soon takes it out. Gamzu gonna go primal raid. Hobie comes in. 4K, more hydration.
And now Jester can go to town.
Libero getting all the kills right now. It's crunch time.
They need to be ready to bring out the A game.
They've got such incredible talent in this roster, and they are not holding back.
Oh, here we go.
Who would have thought this would be so close?
No way, no way, no way. Yes, 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 it's happening.
All the good stuff.
Yes, welcome back, everybody, from the break. And we are going to get into the second map here of the grand finals. It is between Boston Uprising and the New York Excel. And, well, as far as performance is concerned, right now, Boston Uprising, they are hanging in there with New York.
I was so worried about the Widow battle that was going to take place because Pine has been playing just off the charts, at another level. There are Widowmakers and there are Pines. And Mistakes had not been playing all that great. I was actually thinking like, hey, maybe Route 66, do you think they kick it old school, run a Sombra? Do you think it's going to be Striker on Pine duty? He held his own and then some right there. You see the stat card right now? Pine, of course, has a little bit better, but I said coming in this, I don't expect or need Mistakes to win it or dominate it. I need him to just hold his own.
Well, you see the discrepancy there. It's like final blows on opposing Widowmaker. I think that a lot of that came from the first point when New York ran out there with that odd comp. Mistakes not quite sure where it needed to be. Pine was able to get a few pot shots in on him. But after that point, going into the second one, you started to see Mistakes start to get his own back in that fight.
Mistakes on offense opened up 3 fights in a row by killing Pine, and they got rezzed up every single time, but it's a resource that they don't have. We do have substitutions coming in. Our next map is going to be Nepal, so Animo will come in and sub in for Arc, very likely going to plead mercy to Libero's Pharah on this map at times, because he is coming in for Pine as well. And so this, Monty mentioned it earlier, NYXL is probably the team that plays Pharah the most on several different maps. They like to run it on Numbani as well. Of course, Nepal is very good for Pharah. You can run her on nearly every stage. You don't see her in Sanctum so much anymore, but she's still viable there if you choose to go with it. And then the question becomes, how does Boston deal with this? Does Mistakes play the McCree? Does he go to the Sombra, which they've tried to do sometimes as well? A lot of the pressure, of course, will be on Neko as well. You gotta have the Discord up in the air to make everyone's job easier to try to take down that combo, if they should run it. Right now, they're not even queued up into it. We are on Village, which is a map that you can run Pharah on very easily. Shrine, I think, is a better map for her overall, just because it's the skybox is a little bit higher when you get down to the actual point.
Right.
So we'll see. And I don't know. New York right now, they've been pulling curveballs all day. They've been doing stuff that's just a little bit different than what you expect. And they're trying to surprise Boston early in this matchup.
Yeah, they're throwing Boston for a loop. I mean, this is the finals with the added pressure on there. If you start destabilizing, if you start throwing things at Boston they aren't quite expecting, it's going to get fun. And we're going to see if Boston Uprising, if they've got that mental strength to get it done.
Let's get it! Bastion on Village! This is a strategy that is rare, but it's not entirely new. It happens on occasion. Short Boars run this on different teams as well. The Bastion on the high ground, and Boston should be going right back. But losing Jonak early on really hurts. That might tell Boston that they should go for this. It's going to have to be Note initiating the dive and getting into this with the defense matrix, or they can just ignore it and go to the point, which is what they're doing.
It is exactly, they're rapping right now. Libero just firing blind, expecting them to go through the doorway here. Are they going to be able to drop Libero into a position where he can get some fire onto that point, help his teammates out? As yes, it is going to be them moving together, all three as a unit. Libero point blank, just unloading on them. They will give ground here, Boston Uprising. not quite able to hang in here as Gamsu gets overwhelmed with the help of Mako, and it is going to be this hard point defense in the corner, just setting him up with a Bionade to help from Jonak, making all the difference here. That additional healing allows for New York Excel to withstand the push coming in from Boston.
They have finally taken down Libero on the Bastion, though. They will also get the Diva out of the mix, too. So now, got a couple of ults that do fly in here. They're going for it. Mistakes is going to have Deadeye to zone it out. He waits and takes down Jonak.
Perfect. Thought that he might even catch Enemo there, but it's not going to happen, and they're going to get that flip. Very quick flip coming in here from Boston Uprising. Very quick adjustments made.
Well, look at this economy now, too, that New York cannot stay on these heroes, so they're going to have to switch off of it onto a different composition. Boston, I mentioned them being patient, and also when they see something, there's like, nah, let's just adjust and go. They saw the Bastion, and they just said, nah.
Yeah,
nah.
Actually.
We're going to go to the point, and you can come deal with us later.
This is so fun. This is high-level Overwatch. This is what we've all been waiting for here, as it is going to be the boost coming in here onto Mono. Just leaps in, and that's not going to help him. He gets focus fired so quickly, doesn't know what hit him. Mono out of the fight already here for New York, and that's definitely going to slow him down. They're going to back up, and well, Gamsu's not going to let him back out of here for free. Look at all of this chain damage he's doing.
He had his Tracer there with him. They were looking to get some staggering kills into that. And Jonak is staying on this Ana. He's a very, very capable Ana. It's one of his best heroes. We only know him as the Zenyatta in the Overwatch League. But this is an interesting play. I thought maybe after the boost they would switch onto the Zenyatta. He's been so good on that hero. But they continue to want to run this. It's a modified dive. Of course, the dive with the Ana and Mercy.
He's so aggressive, even on Ana, though. He's still out there hunting for shots. You know, he's like, I can't follow you, but I can still snipe you. I like it. I like it. Mistakes finds the kill on Saviobi, though. Right now, New York Excel aren't really figuring out how to make progress on this attack as they get up to 67% now for Boston Uprising. This is getting into that one-fight territory now for Boston, where they're going to be feeling pretty good.
They're going to have to re-engage at some point, probably with the Valkyrie, but the problem is you're going to have to Valkyrie into the Deadeye. So if you try to just stay low ground and stay on the point with the Valkyrie, there's no way you can be up in the sky. Mistakes will find you.
See, in terms of positioning, Mistakes is thinking exactly that. If he's going to go to the sky, well, it is going to be it. Libero gets boosted. He's got the Dragon Blade, and this is exactly what he was hoping for. Flashbang not going to be quick enough. Kellis is dead. So much damage, but then Mistakes on the headshot. Point blank on Libero. Drops him. Nope, will get the self-destruct off for a fresh match. No problem there. Striker gets overwhelmed, though. And right now, New York, they are finding their openings. They are getting the damage in.
Finally gets some kills here, but Mistakes still alive into this. He's trying to get the Baby Diva, unable to do so. Him and Ana did not expect to see each other there. Flash and fan.
Oh, was taken, but that bubble, nick of time. Great play from Mono to keep his team alive. And Libero finds Nako, and this is definitely looking like a decent situation for New York. They've got 4 alive on this point, taking their time to remove Note. And now Gamsu, Striker, and Kellick's gonna have to back off here. It's gonna get a bit too hot for them on the point.
Boston was in a great spot there, but Sabiobi is able to cut Kellick's off from the rest of his team and then finish the kill onto him. New York will flip it back around. And now Boston, only one fight away, 99% here on Nepal. But New York has gotten themselves in a good position as well. Both Valkyries should be up at about the same time. I want to look at this micro battle between Sabiobi and Mistakes.
Yeah, I love it. And they're out, look at it, Sabiobi, he was thinking, if they're gonna come through here grouped up, I'm definitely gonna go for the pulse play. Not quite gonna find it, let's get the stick! Beautiful work, but Gamsu survives by thread here. He is gonna be, no, he gets overwhelmed by Mako, who hunts him down. It will be the trade, 1 for 1. Gamsu gets rezzed up here by Kellex, who got the wings out. Animo has got the wings as well. Getting the chain heals, trying to keep them alive, and they are sticking together as a good unit here in New York. Mono isn't deep in enemy territory, but he will get backed up here soon. Libero's got the blade, and with Note, or rather Nako using the trance, that opens it up here for Libero.
That's perfect timing.
Oh, the knock! Gets knocked! Oh, what perfect timing! Mono, the hero!
Libero goes down, but that is the only kill that they get. It was such great timing from Libero. He saw the Primal Rage Winston. He's like, I'll wait for that to go away. Saw the Transcend, I'll wait for that to go away. No one expects the Winston from behind, knocking him off course, but it does not matter in the end as the rest of Excelsior pick up the slack. Both support ultimates used, not coming through this fight.
That is so frustrating, right? If you're Genji, you're just like, it is my time! It is my time to shine, let's go!
You can see the thought process too. He's like, all right, well, that's gonna mess me up, so I'll go in now, and still gets messed up.
Yeah, Mistakes, we swap off of the Deadeye there. Mistakes had a target, but it was a Libero who was reflecting. Definitely not gonna pull the trigger there. Note will find Libero though, so no longer the Genji, but Mako runs Striker over, and Mono finds the kill on Mistakes. 99 to 99, and now it's gonna be the big fight here in New York Excel right now. They're pulling ahead. Note finds the kill on Mako, but Jonak is there, back on his trustee's end. Kelix and Mako dead, and this is falling apart now for Boston Uprising, and it is a winnable situation for New York, and the overtime wick burns down Striker. Gets back on the point in the nick of time, hoping to keep it alive, but that's gonna be it. New York will pick up the point lead here, 1-0.
I love Striker. Absolutely one of my favorite tracers in the game, but I'm still in love with Sabiobi. An absolute madman towards the end, killed everything. He got off on Winston, he got to the back line, and then killed his counterpart. The man's stats right now are 17 and 9 and only 2 deaths.
Yeah. How can you not love him when you see his reaction at the end there? Every point for New York, he's leaping in the air, he's cheering with his team. That's the kind of teammate you want. In a finals, you want that kind of guy who's gonna get everybody pumped up every time it goes well. Boom, blowing up, he's loving it, and that is definitely gonna help New York here as the fight continues. We move on now to the next point. Boston Uprising have to figure it out.
Sanctum incoming here, so we're going to see some Junkrat and Widow on both sides of things. Oddly enough, the Striker Junkrat leads the league in a great deal of categories. We talk about him as a tracer, but he is up there amongst the best junks so far in Stage 3.
Very good at throwing nades in. It's Libero himself. There we go, the mine to the face, Libero. Near maxed out. Definitely uncomfortable. The halt into mine combo, we're seeing it all the time. I'm loving it. Once we get that Orisa in, there's some clever plays possible, but Gamsu's already set up shop here on the point as it becomes unlocked. And New York is going to have to rotate around to start contesting this.
It's just complete squad play. You've got 4 on the right side, and then the Widow and Zenyatta's are working together on both teams on both sides. They're all over the place. This top down is super interesting. They're just peeking in the corner. Sabiobi has no designs of going after mistakes. It's like they're playing their own game over here.
And it's
Look
so
at this.
fun.
You see the crossfire coming in from both sides there. They're just launching it all at the point.
It's just orbs flying in. And well, eventually it's going to be Striker pulling ahead. Kelix gets caught by Sabiobi, and Sabiobi decides now's the time to try and take the fight. Can he find an angle here? Striker out in the open. Gets laid low. And Sabiobi, yes, one step ahead of mistakes. Waiting for him like the spider.
It's so bonkers to me how many good Widows are on this NYXL team. You think of Pine, and of course, let's say Sabiobi just crushed it there. Libero can play a good Widow as well. You're not safe. The versatility on this team. And it's versatility because anyone can pick up any hero at any time. The only reason Pine's not in is because they just want the versatility of Libero.
They want the options for the projectiles. Well, there you have it. All right, let's see. This is going to be 30% and counting now for New York Excel. Boston Uprising, once again, Gamsu kind of setting up that hard point behind the shield. He's getting backed up by Note as both of the Divas are just zooming all over the place. Striker looking for the angle here. He does have his tire, and yep, both tires going to be thrown into it. Libero finds Nako. That's a valuable kill. And we will have Striker finding Libero. So back and forth. Kelix gets the res off though, so now Nako's back into it. Libero brought back to life as well, so we're kind of reset, but fight continues on the point. And this time, Jonak out in the open will not survive Nako with the volley headshot.
They're still keeping everyone alive, though. They're going to touch onto the point here. They've got their Orisa down there. The Mercy will be joining them if they should so need it. Animo's going to bail out of this one. He has yet to die this map, and he's going to keep that streak alive. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Kelix has died 6 times, so that is the biggest difference in this map, is that New York's always got a Mercy alive, always.
The healing throughput is starting to get a little out of hand. He's healed 4,000, nearly 4,000 more than Kelix so far. And that's going to make the difference in the team fights. You're keeping your tanks up, you're keeping your defense and your DPS up. So now it is going to be Boston Uprising here, 25% and counting. See if they're going to be able to hold this next push as New York Excel. They've got Sabiobi and Mistakes both on the sides, looking for their picks. Kelix has got the wings out now, trying to get the heals going. Nako, he's got his trance as well.
It's very likely they don't even engage. Now they're going to actually pop Transcendence and come back in here now. Gamsu, Bongos will go down, putting pressure on the point. Both support ultimates now out, but that's a huge tire that might save it for Boston. They'd invested a lot in that fight, had to win it.
Now Mako chucks himself off the side. And it is going to be Boston withstanding it for now. They're nearly tied up, 50% and on.
Poor Animo, first death of the entire map now. Sometimes
you got to slow him down.
Heroes,
he's still pulling ahead of Kelix in terms of heals.
Look, heroes sometimes die. Let's not get into false advertising.
We see it all the time. We see it all the time, especially when you've got Sabiobi out on the map right now hunting. And well, that is a big self-destruct. Mono's supercharger goes boom, but Libero gone as well.
They're going to come back into this. They want to res, they want to try to fight right now because it's at 80%. You might not have perfect timing for a regroup. And another nice kill onto Gamsu. But Striker is going off. He gets himself another 2. And they're going to have to regroup a little bit here. They're probably going to wait it out. Meko can always touch the point if they need it. 90% and counting up for Boston Uprising.
Yeah, now Mono swapped it up, so he's going to be back in the fight on Winston, just throwing himself in here. Angles are getting watched. It's going to be the tire here from Libero, trying to lead it open. Trying to create some space for his team to work with here. He is finding these angles, needs to kind of dodge around, doesn't want it to get killed, and well, sure enough, no, pounces on it, but in the meantime, Sabiobi has found Kelix, Neko dead as well.
The problem with your D.Va going after that tire is it leaves everyone else exposed, and they absolutely capitalize on it. Animo kills Striker, resurrects Jonak. I mean, we talk so much about Arc, and he's played much more than Animo, but he's having a mercy game of his life right now.
And there it is, the flip. 99% for Boston Uprising. Now it's on New York Excel to hold. They're doing a fantastic job right now. Sabiobi is playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
You got Striker. You've seen a lot of Striker in the kill feed. He's at 12 final blows. Sabiobi, he's sitting at 16 and continuing. I mean, he's just taking the lead right now. He is doing so much work for New York.
He also only has 2 deaths. The next nearest non-Animo player has 5 deaths on the other side, and that's Neko. So there's something not killing Sabiobi.
Yeah, they are in the lead right now in terms of kills. New York Excel. Mako doing a great job right now hanging in here. He will get on that point. 90% now, and there we go. Striker with the tire kill on Mono. Sabiobi and Libero doing work. Yet again, Kelix falls. Gamsu, the next one to follow suit. Sabiobi right now continues to deliver for the New York Excel, and that could make all of the difference. You're losing heals, doesn't matter. Sabiobi's here to kill your whole team.
Meko goes right after him, says, get off my point. They've got Neko stuck in the corner. Transcend is just the victory light to light the way as New York is knocking everyone off.
Nearly knocks him into the murder chasm. That was so close. Mistakes out of it as well. And the New York Excel will take the lead and maintain it in this grand finals. 2 maps to 0.
So impressed with how Animo played there in the limited playtime he has had with New York. Staying alive as a Mercy is so important. But to me, it always comes down to the best players play their best when it is all on the line. No surprise that Sabiobi absolutely stepping up and was clutch.
I know, every moment, relentlessly pursuing the kills. Mistakes, he had his moments. We saw him on the McCree earlier. Wasn't quite able to make it happen on this map, and it is going to be Boston Uprising now after the halftime. They got some time to discuss, but they're going to have to figure it out on the 3rd map coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
No one can hide.
NYXL are one map away from earning a second crown. Will they be able to take home the Stage 3 championship? We'll find out in the second half. We're here at halftime. It's Puckett, we got Bren, we've got Sideshow, and so far, it's all New York. Up 2-0, what a great day they're having.
Yeah, they're having a fantastic day. But Puckett, do you not remember the finals of Stage 1 and Stage 2? We have only had reverse sweeps in the finals. So this is nothing new. The team that goes up 2-0 always loses the stage playoff finals. Is it going to happen again?
And I will say this as well, the next maps that are going to be coming up, they suit Boston quite significantly. Volskaya is still undefeated on that map. This is where potentially Boston and Uprising get the reverse sweep going. This is where it potentially starts. I mean, it has to start here.
It's got to get started at some point. Otherwise, this show is going to be very, very short on a championship Sunday. But let's go back in time to Route 66. Remember, it's a best of 5. But our first map, I thought this was an awesome final hold by Boston. When I saw them stop New York short of C, I was like, all right, this is Boston's game to win. But as we take a look at some of these highlights, anytime Pine's in the mix, you're going to have a tough time, especially when he's side by side with Saviobi.
He really is, yeah. And the NYXL came out with an Orisa Hog composition, which is super good because it's very difficult for Boston Uprising to dive onto it when Mistakes is on the Widowmaker. So Boston really struggled with this, adapted, and as you said, were able to shut them out just before C. But the NYXL are so clutch when it matters, man. When they were defending point A, Jonak's able to get up his Transcendence twice as quickly as Neko is. So they're able to jump back in with a Transcendence, block point A, and keep the time ticking down. And from there, it was a slow grind. And Boston, you could see them trying to get into the game, and Striker tried his hardest, but all of the clutch plays, they didn't quite get them there.
For me personally, this is a game of two halves, right? It was a lot of this was Pine really getting let loose on the first half. He wasn't really shut down at all. In fact, in his ratios compared to when he was 1v1ing against Mistakes in the first half, the scoreline was 5-1 to Pine in advantage to him. And it was towards the later end of this match, or this map, I should say, where they finally started to put a lot more resources into Pine. But the issue is, once they commit that much, Sabiobi was once again left unchecked. He can get away with a lot more madness. Bearing in mind, Striker's also still there, trying to keep him in check as well. But the issue remains is that they've put so much focus onto Pine towards the second half of the map. Pine playing Widowmaker, he's still able to hit these ridiculous nutty shots because all he needs is one instance to get a headshot onto somebody and he picks up a kill. Whereas Boston need a lot more time to try and set up a lot of these things. And this is the sort of highlights here that really exemplify it because it's the first half of the game, a lot of focus being put onto Pine. They were trying to basically shut him down. Mistakes was winning a lot more of these 1v1s as a result of Note applying a lot of pressure to him. But where the second half of the game started to kick in, Pine was letting loose a lot more. He was taking some very risky angles, but still hitting the shot. So despite the fact that Boston weren't trying to actively shut him down, it wasn't really happening. They weren't getting away with it.
Saviobi on the ground did so much work. His stall at B is really what bought New York a lot of time on defense as well. So New York, they strike first here in the grand finals. Now we go into our second map in Control, looking really close. You had a great game out of Mistakes, at least on the first point. Let's take a look back here at some of the action because Josh, we came into this one on Village, and right away, a weird comp comes out from New York. They run the Bastion.
Yeah, Bastion and Anna, you can see that Jonak got a great sleep there on the beginning, but Boston read this Bastion composition really well. Just spread out so that they're encircling NYXL, pushed them into a corner, and they were able to take a lead. But then New York switch over to dive, and still, even with that deficit on the clock, they're able to claw their way back in. Again, Sabiobi having a ridiculous game on the Widowmaker for the next stage as well, on Sanctum, destroying people, getting picks on Kalex and Striker all over the place, really dominating. And I think you said it earlier, Brent, we normally talk about this guy as a star tracer, we do with Striker as well, but they can play other kind of pocket pick heroes, and the pocket pick for Sabiobi is that Widowmaker. They are still very dangerous with Sabiobi, Libero, or Pine. It doesn't matter who picks up that hero.
And you heard our casters saying it, Animo had an incredible game on the Mercy. Normally we see Arc in the mix, their new support player shining here in Stage 3. But there was one moment that I want to go back and look at, and this is where it looked like Boston was going to take the second heat of this Control map. Instead, though, Libero pulls out a tire from spawn, and New York gets back into the game. Can you guys walk us through this play? How did New York bring this one back on Sanctum.
Yeah, I've got a telestration that will be able to break down what was going on here, because the important things to note is that obviously the Boston Uprising here at 97%.
Big
so
number.
this is a fight that New York Excel must win. It is a big number, Pocket. I know you can barely count that high most days. So you gotta look at what NYXL have got on the board. They have a Valkyrie to work with, and they have a Riptire which they've just used. So let's take a look at how they get value out of this Riptire. So just to draw your attention to it, the Riptire is at the bottom of the screen. Libero's just about to let it loose, and here it comes on the left-hand side. So we're going to watch this tire and look at where it goes. And the other thing to point out is Mano, because he's waiting to dive into the backlines here. And what's the counter to a solo diving Winston? Normally, it's Note, who would usually come and try and peel for his supports. We talk about Note being such a great diva. That's the counter. But Note now has to juggle responsibilities, because he has to deal with Mano, but he also has to deal with the tire. So look what happens here. Mano really deep. He's gone for this dive just as the tire gets there, because Note now, what does he do? Does he peel this way and try and deal with the tire, or does he peel this way and try and deal with Mano? He's stuck in an impossible decision. And look at his kind of decision making here. He looks as if he's going to go for Mano, and then instead prioritizes the Riptire, because that's an instant kill. But in the meantime, everybody has taken advantage of the fact that Neko is away. They've pushed Meko up. Meko is now pressuring Gamsu. Striker is behind, but Jonak's just Jonak and is going to deal with him. So they've got this crazy situation where Note is forced to do the impossible. Also, just have a look at what's going on up there. It's the supports, the Zen and Mercy of New York Excel killing Striker rather than the other way around. Ridiculous solo play. And then Sabiobi gets a pick on Kelex in the top as well. So it all falls to pieces here, but the key that opened it up was the distraction of the tire and the fact that Note has two responsibilities there. Has to deal with Mano, has to deal with the tire. Impossible for him to deal with both, and so the backline is inevitably going to crumble. NYXL so good at making those impossible decisions for the opponent, forcing mistakes out of them.
It's kind of incredible to see it. When you break it down like that, yeah, we see the tire, it's exciting, but just to see how much is going on around the map and the fact that your Mercy picked up the kill on Striker to keep you in it. Pretty insane stuff from New York so far. There are returning champions. They're the reigning #1 team in the league, but they haven't done it yet. Let's look at the second half. How can Boston get back in this series? Because as you said, Josh, both of our previous playoffs have been reverse sweeps.
Yeah, well, we talked about the maps a little bit. Now you can actually see them in action here with the statistics. And Boston undefeated still when it comes to Volskaya Industries.
And that's not it as well. They've played 10 times over the course of the season, and they're still undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. This is just a small sample size of the most recent games. They're undefeated across the entirety of the season. It's very impressive run by Boston Uprising in general. Goes to Nambani. Again, Boston Uprising have been improving more recently on it. They've actually improved in spades compared to their other results historically, whereas New York Excelsior is still a strong candidate on it. Boston Uprising, they have an opportunity here to claim the reverse sweep. They just need a lot of mental fortitude to do so.
We're here in Los Angeles. It's two Northeastern teams, so I gotta get a feel for the pulse here in the room. Who wants to see Boston lock this one up and get back-to-back titles? All right, about a 30%.
Lukewarm.
All right.
Yeah.
Who wants to see the Boston Uprising come back and steal this from New York?
And who wants to see Boston Uprising? you said Boston twice there, Puckett.
I wanted to see if they'd do it again. Who wants to see New York lock this up? I need a nap, but we'll wait till the games are done. Let's get to the second half. We got Summer and Hess in just a few moments.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The New York XL currently hold a 2-0 lead over the Boston Uprising. So close to back-to-back stage titles. And you know what? Forget it. I'm going to say it. This reminds me a lot of something that happened in the NFL. I know, sports ball, but bear with me. There once was this team from the Boston area. They won all their games in the regular season, got all the way to the end in the game that really counted, and then they lost to a scrappy team from New York. Now, I know the stage playoffs, you know, they're not as important as the Super Bowl, but I'd be hard-pressed to say there aren't any congruences there, and not to mention the fact the NYXL and the New York Giants, the colors are almost the same. But anyways, NYXL, they are one game away from $100,000 in back-to-back stage titles. Can Boston Uprising do something that they haven't done this entire season and actually lose a game? Let's find out right now and get back into this matchup with our casters, Simler and Hex.
Thank you, Malik. Yes, this is going to be it, man. Are they going to be able to bounce it back? It happens to be on a good map for them, though, for Boston. Right, Hex?
Yeah. Well, look, Boston, this team is also owned by that other. It's the same owner, has both teams. I wouldn't necessarily make the analogy between NYXL and New York Giants that year, but I don't know. I see it. The bottom line is Boston and New York don't like each other when it comes to sports. Period. That's it. That's the end of it. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the years. There's the World Series, the reverse sweep that happened there. But here come the substitutions as we get into what could possibly be our deciding map. Arc is coming back in from Animo. Animo, take a break. You did your job. You crushed it. You got nothing else to worry about. Arc's going to be coming back in as we will go to Volskaya. Boston's home map. Have not lost Volskaya in the entirety of the Overwatch League. Something tells me that New York might have a little bit of a new strat here, right? They've been throwing curveballs at Boston the entire time. This has to be a map that they game plan for, knowing that it is Boston's best map. I mean, maybe we won't see it, but I'm hoping they just start something really weird. I don't know what that would be, but they tried out the Bastion strategy. They made an Orisa play on the very first point at Junkertown, so they're not going all in with the cheese. It's not your finest cheddars, but they're, they're seeing how the whiz works a little bit.
Wait, so it's not a cheddar, it's like
a
it's
brie.
like the cheddar that comes wrapped in plastic?
No, that's not cheese. What's going on? Look, I know that you're French and you have your whole things about cheese.
I was about to say.
But as a human being, that is not cheese. That is cheese-like product. Anyway, we've got a mild, maybe some mild provolone comes in here a little bit later. But for now, it is just the standard-looking setup for both teams.
Widow Tracer to be found.
Widow Tracer, Widow Tracer.
Widow Tracer, standard fare. And well, it's looking like Libero will be the one who's going to be rocking the Widow here. Mistakes, no surprise to see him. And well, that is a bit of a surprise. He gets caught completely off guard. Definitely not expecting Libero to wrap around on the right side.
I don't expect him to miss those shots either. He had them. He had a couple decent shots on an unaware mistakes, but unable to close the deal in that one.
And well, that's going to cost him. Jonak going to get shot in the face. They are trying to punish this as well. It was Strikel taking a poke, hoping to catch Arc out in the open. Instead, it's going to be mistakes right now, just running rampant. 2 kills for him to kick things off. Mono out in the open as well, gets overwhelmed by Note. And they are going to have to back off here, New York.
Full tanks out of it. Is time for a reset now. Mistakes has held his own against Pine. Now he's got to go up against Libero. Already doing a much better job. Just look at the straight up damage he's put out. Already has ultimate.
They have to just shake it off right now, Boston Uprising. Get rid of the nerves. Yes, you're in the finals. Yes, it's a totally different experience. The pressure is on.
Mistakes has done 1,000 damage already. It's ridiculous. By comparison, Libero's done 120.
Now he gets to see through walls as well. Hey. Is he going to get the follow-up here, though? They are wrapping around. The shot on the follow. Discord Orb was on Mono. He is able to get back around the corner, though, fast enough to survive it. And it is going to be Striker. Striker with an opportunity here to dive in with the pulse if he wants, because Meko will get deleted. No D-Matrix here to deny him. And Mano all the way in the back line. There we go. The stick and the boom. Not quite going to find the kill because Mano goes Primal.
I'm a little curious as to why that, but Sabiobi opens it up. He gets a pulse, but Sabiobi just killed both supports.
All right, then there we go. Sabiobi decides to take matters into his own hands. He's done playing. He's done playing with your mistakes instead. He gets the teammate, and Sabiobi running amok. All the kills. And that is it. You can't mess with this guy. He's impatient, Hex. He's impatient. He got tired of waiting. He was like, right, okay. He's looking at his teammates like, are you guys going to do anything? Okay, I guess I'll just have to go ahead and kill everything.
Yeah, it was an interesting primal, but they had to go back and deal with it, and then everyone's in a weird position, so Sabiobi gets in here, actually sticks the Diva. Neko is the casualty there. Calyx brave in the face of danger, but Sabiobi there's something intangible about him, and we haven't seen him at the same level he was at stage 1, but he is putting on a show in these last 2 maps.
Yes, he has. He has definitely stepped up to an all-new level here. And well, he's already on the flank, hunting for the kills. He's gonna spot him out of the open, putting the pressure here on. Kelix is gonna be able to dart out of harm's way. Arc can't say the same for him. Striker finds him in the end. So this is going to be New York getting the reset here. So Violbi just gonna be backing off, going to go ahead and regroup with the rest of his team. And while they have plenty of time to work with New York, they should not be getting impatient in this scenario. They've got 5 minutes in the bank.
And they're going to go for your Sombra strategy here as well on the offense, so they might even wait for Libero to try to open this up and get a big EMP to try to deal with this. Pure dive for Boston. This is the order of the day. This is what they like to run on defense.
Yeah, change it up. Mistakes. He's got a capable Genji. He is reliable when it comes to the blades as well. Kind of keeping an eye here on Libero, who's still just kind of poking around on the point right now. They're going to need to get back, and yep, Note's going to spot him. Translocates out. Mono, however, will keep it alive here for the New York Excel as he leaps up onto the side. Striker, however, will get the punish on him. That was at range as well. Sebiobi and Meko, however, will get results. Kelix is dead. Nako just a split second too late with the trance to keep his Mercy alive.
Well, the trance is actually going out the front door now. They're looking to get in the back on the support lines. Jonak is there, but Meko is getting healed up as well. This is a small window. They can try to push onto this, I think. And also with the Valkyrie, and you want to commit to this. Mono's on his way back. They are in full fighting force now.
And Gamsu is out in the deep. Primal Rage, though, he is going to be trying to chuck Jonak off the side of the cliff. Not going to work for him, though. The peel is good for New York Excel, instantly back there to help their teammates out. They're nearly picking up a first take, although as I say that, mistakes will dash through Sebiobi, but not before Sebiobi finds a kill of his own. Striker takes down Libero, but it's traded back. Jonak, of course, shows up with a headshot. And Mono will take down Nako. This is looking good here for New York to maybe pick up that first take as they find kill after kill, flying high right now. Note and Kelix trying to do the best that they can to hang in here.
Doesn't matter if you lose some DPS because you still have Jonak on your team. The self-destruct is going to come in desperation. They will pick Striker back up, but now the rest of this New York team is in the mix. Getting kill after kill. Kelix falls again.
Oh, that's awkward for mistakes. You need to get out of here. Nothing worse than being a Genji and you're silent. You got no abilities. 2 ticks for New York. They're on the edge now. Could be a very quick take on the B point of Volskaya as they do get the res up. Boston Uprising trickling in one after another, but not so much. They're kind of going in as a group, and they're getting overwhelmed. Kelix in the corner, caught, no way out, and mistakes with the blade, trying to be the hero. Jonak is laughing at him. He's got the trance. He's not going to get anything done. And New York, very solid first push here on Volskaya.
It's a great time. We gave a lot of credit to Sebiobi in that first push, but Libero actually came up pretty big on the Sombra. It was very interesting that they had no idea there was a Sombra until Libero showed them there was a Sombra. So he put like the fear in them. Then he was getting hacks on the point. Every time that you saw Note go down, he had been hacked. And then Sebiobi comes in, cleans him up, and they get him out of mech. It makes it a lot easier for everyone else. Arc, Animo, doesn't matter who it is. He had Valkyrie 2 fights in a row. He's putting out so much healing. Only died once the entire map. And on the other side of things, Neko got farmed a little bit. He died 6 times on the Zenyatta.
The pressure was on from Sebiobi, man. He just was relentless. And in terms of final blows, 25 for New York, 11 for Boston. That's not going to be good enough here on the defense. Well, now it's all on the line, Hex. This is it. They have to come up with something big, Boston Uprising, to keep their hopes alive for the finals, for the chance at that title.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see anything out of the ordinary, not on first point here. Second point, and you'd have to imagine it's going to be a Tracer and probably a Genji as well. That's why Libero stays on the map. You don't really always run Widow on this second point. New York, if they can just close out on this defense, they will be the champs. And how crazy would that be to take Boston's map away from them? This is, you looked at the map pool and you're like, okay, but yeah, this one's easy. This is Boston right there.
Got to be Boston. All right, this is home turf. Undefeated in this stage, undefeated on this map. That would be painful to lose in the finals.
10-0 on the map. 8-3 though for New York. It's not like they're bad.
True.
It's always the funny thing when you look at New York and you're like pulling up map records. You're like, oh, they're good at this, they're good at this, they're good at everything. They're the best team in the league. They have been since the beginning of Overwatch League.
Their map differential, I mean, they're untouchable, sitting at the very top of the league. New York, they don't just win, they dominate you. So we're gonna see, can Boston Uprising resist? It is gonna be them on the offense now. Tracer, Striker, and well, minus the Striker, minus the Tracer here. Already, Libero finding the first kill to kick things off here, setting the tone for the New York defense.
They're going to rest it up, so that means Mistakes is not going to get a second life, which you so often see dedicated to the Widows in this battle. playing pretty passive. Most of them are in small room. Now they're going to squad out. New York's going to put 3 on the point. Booth Tanks and Sabiobi messing around.
That's a tough one for Mistakes. Moment's hesitation. Now he's giving it away. 50 HP and running. He will get top back up again. Great heals coming through for the Boston Uprising supports, but Nako finds a kill on Mono, and that could start things off here for Boston Uprising. Arc will get the res off somehow. Oh. And there it is. Jonak at range with the volley to the face. Mistakes is gone, but Kelvix will get the res.
Yeah, out of Mac, no, this probably not going to be enough for Boston to continue to push in here. I was very surprised they were unable to punish Mistakes. They got the Winston back there to force him to launch himself in the air. Now the punish comes through. Striker comes in with a pulse bomb and a Jonak, but too little, too late as Libero goes to town on everybody.
Libero right now, 10 final blows so far on a Widow.
So that early pressure on a Mistakes is to make him grapple up in the air in a way. It's kind of like pull, and you should launch the target up. Here's Libero cleaning up everyone else. There's no pressure on him. He gets one shot, returns it to Mistakes. I think he gets one more here at the end. Yes, he does.
Oh, that's filthy. That is filthy, but it's also beautiful. All right, Libero. I mean, right now he's got the angle too. As they push out into the open, as soon as that bubble's gone, he's gonna get to just reign supreme here. From up top, Striker hunting for a target. Sabiobi is on his heels though. Sabiobi has actually spotted out the supports, but he is gonna be backing off. And it is gonna be him on a mission. D-Matrix there to keep him alive. His healers will top him back up again, and now he can work his way around. He knows these supports are back here, and yep, sure enough, with the help of Mono, they're gonna go diving in. But no, the hero runs him over.
And you will get that number of that truck, I believe it was NOTE, runs him all the way over. They had both supports in his sights and a pulse bomb at the ready as well, so that could have been super dangerous.
That could have been real bad, real grim for Boston. Minute 50 on the clock here for Boston. They're halfway to picking up a second tick on the point. It will now get contested as Libero gets punched in the face. And Striker finds a kill on Jonak.
Oh, that's how Boston wins a lot of these engagements. They wait for Pulse Bomb, and Striker goes in and takes down supports with it. They've lost 2. Resurrections not coming through just yet. Sabiobi's got Mistakes in the backline. Mono is going to Primal Rage. Going to stall this one out.
Yeah, he's going on it right now. He's just leaping all over the place. Great focus fire, though. Deleted instantly. And they are going to be picking up this point. Very little chance now of New York moving in to contest it, and it will not happen. Boston Uprising in a long, drawn-out, minute-long fight. They get the job done.
Now look at the stagger, too. They've got Meko in baby form, and she can't do anything. Mistakes will finally dispatch them. Boston's one of the things they do so crazy well, and obviously the last couple days, they kill Primal Rage Winstons like they have 100 HP and out 1,000. They melt.
Yeah, the focus is there. Speaking of which, Mono's dead. Wasn't Primal that time. No. Just regular Winston.
Died in about the same amount of time, though. It's crazy.
Let's say, though.
They're going to be in the back line. They need to get something done here because there's a lot of pressure on the point.
Hex, I mean, they've got 2 ticks already. They have to get the contestant going here. New York trying to do something. Meko out in the open in Baby Diva form. He's putting it on here for Striker, but Striker ends him. Now they get to trickle in one after another. Arc dangerously low, getting run over by Note. Jonak goes onto the point. He's got the trance. That's only going to buy time, though. Sabiobi is back in here. Mono's rezzed up along with Meko. They need to get in here quick, though. There's not a whole lot holding them back. Boston Uprising will do it! Tying it up 2-2. And in a better time as well. 4:19 in the bank for Boston.
That's the Boston that we know on Volskaya. Mistakes stepped up to the plate, matching Libero. Let's take a look at his play.
Let's see it. On high. Always stylish. Butt to the face. Get out, Art. Libero as well. This was the end, the wrap up.
Just waiting for that light to fade, and we'll just pop Jonak there at the end. I think the kills that came before that were actually a little more brutal because Sabiobi and Libero were both in the backline together as a Genji and as a Tracer, and they came away with nothing but death because Nako was able to kill Sabiobi in the backline. Then they put enough pressure on Libero that he couldn't go in, so they lost all of their damage in the backline for absolutely nothing. And then when they cleaned that up, the entire rest of the Boston squad pushed forward onto it. Those are kills that they happen once in a while, but you can't lose both of your DPS in the back. You can't lose Sabiobi like that to the opposing Tracer, or the opposing Zenyatta, excuse me. And that opened things up for Boston to push in. This is their best map for a reason. They have perfect coordination, and then just, I mean, a snowball right there, right?
Yeah,
you take first, that's usually your best push is going to be taking second, because there's changes that often occur for the defense. They're going to get off to the Widow, where you can stay on it for that push, so they take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it. They don't let it up. Boston Uprising, once they've got you in the chokehold, it's so hard to fight your way out of it. Mistakes, I like it. The bold first peek. Looking for a shot. He does connect, but he will not get a kill. And it will be New York Excel now with a little less than 3 minutes to get some progress on this first point. They had less time in the bank, so they'll be the ones on the offense, and now it's a matter of Boston Uprising holding on. There's the spot, just a gap for Mistakes. Now he knows where Libero's playing from.
Tanks on the tickle. Sabiobi's playing with his team rather than going for a flank. It's a little bit different stylistically than some Tracers will do. Now we see Striker's going to poke around. Sabiobi now up and behind the rest of the team. He's above what you see Mistakes is right now.
There it is. Nicely done. Gets the punish on Mono. Spots out Libero as well. Gamsu is there to jump on Libero, though. Libero's going to be in a bit of a tight spot. Has to launch himself into the air. Pull! And he survives. No! Mistakes finds him in the end.
The Mistakes is very low right now in his Discord, and he's going to join this fracas that's happening in the pack room. They're not cleaning up any kills, but they're putting some pressure on the point at the very least. Mistakes going to walk out here with the SMG, and yeah, they're going to bully them off the point.
Yeah, super solid. Look at that. Not even a tick of progress picked up for New York Excel, and all of that fracas. Boston Uprising managed to make it work. Sabiobi, well, nice stagger there onto Mecca. We'll get the res off, though. It was on the other side of the building, so that was a lucky break for Ark. He'll be able to get that one for free. So we will have Mecco back into mech very quickly here.
Sabiobi did a great job, but his team couldn't capitalize on it. He put so much pressure onto that backline up front and got even kills early on. There's a nice punish onto Gamsu. I don't know if that is in a resable area because he is so far away from his team.
He's on the other side. Kellex, if he's going to keep the rest of his team alive, he needs to just say no. Can't get the res off. Has to get the chain healing going here to keep the rest of his squishies alive. Nico throws in his trance as well. They're really feeling the heat right now, Boston. Striker trying to go for the Hail Mary pulse. It's not going to happen. Mono is dropping dangerously low, however. But that's, yeah, he's got Primal, so he's going to be able to just keep the fun rolling.
This is how they cracked it the first time around, too. They sent Mono back with Primal Rage. He's going to knock Zenyatta off of the edge into the icy drink. Robots and saltwater do not mix. We'll take that one out. 3 kills. New York is going to have a crack at second.
How annoying would that be if you're Zen 2? I just got polished. I just got polished, and now I'm going to rust.
It's like 2 days in Los Angeles when it rains and you just got your car washed. Like, come on!
Seriously? All right, well, success here for New York Excel on point A. Now we get to go on to point B with a minute on the clock here. Can New York get any progress going for themselves?
Instant switch. Libero's going to go over to the Sombra on offense. Got to keep your head down when Jonak is on the map. Gets another volley. He's got Transcendence up. They've got a lot to work with here. This should keep Ark alive enough to get Valkyrie. This is a huge snowball potential. Nowhere near support ultimates up for Boston, so they need to take advantage of this right now because 60% is enough that they can get there during the fight.
I mean, you can see, just watching Jonak play, why he is the most lethal Zenyatta in the league. Just always got the angle right for those volleys. So dangerous for Boston Uprising to peek. Sabiobi on the point now, leading the charge. He's got Mono to back him up, but he decides to retreat for now. Going in with Mako instead. There's Note finding the kill on Mono. Mistakes with the dash to help out as well. And Libero, we've gone for the same kind of strategy here for New York. They're going to just be waiting up. Libero is not going to have time to. They've got 15 seconds to get back onto this point.
There's no one up front with an ability to be able to move on to the point. Perhaps it's going to be up to Libero. Sabiobi is rotating around now. I believe in New York they have this plan here in place. They're going to bounce onto the point. They do touch.
Yeah, they do touch just in time. So that keeps the overtime going here. We do have the self-destruct for Mecco. Is he going to be able to get the remech? He is under pressure. Striker looking to capitalize. Not going to find it. So a fresh mech for Mecco, but we lose Mono in the process. The support's not able to get there close enough to keep him alive. And it will be Jonak throwing in the trance here, just hoping to bury them onto the point. Big play here from Mistakes. Perfect. Ark gets the res off, but he pays with his life, and now it's going to fall through here for New York, or it should.
That's a good res, though, I think. Even giving your life for it, because Mono's got Primal Rage. He was unable to pop it before he dies, but now he's going to at least be able to stall out on the point. Mecca will get out of mech. But out of the Primal Rage Winston against this team. Look, 2 kills! Yeah, no Mono. Discord on him either.
He just knocked Neko off the side. Got rid of Striker as well. Mono coming up with the goods right now. Gamsu is going to be the one holding on this point for Boston Uprising. He's getting backed up by Note as well, who's hanging on by a thread, but not much longer. And Mistakes is going to be the one here to work with his tanks. He needs to come up with the goods. Jonak is under pressure. Mistakes in the back line.
Jonak getting pressure, but he's got 76. He gets him so low right now. Late kills come, and Boston pulls it off. I thought New York had pulled that back because of the resurrection onto Mono. Whew. We're on Volskaya.
We're on Volskaya. It is going to be close. It's going to be a back and forth, especially between 2 of these fantastic teams, 2 of the best teams on this map as well. That's exactly what we expect to see. And so we're going to get to see Mono punching some people in the face. Indiscriminate punching as well. You know, he's just getting back here. Look at this. Gets on top of Neko, chucks him off the side.
For the second time, this offense If he had been able to pop Primal without needing the res, I think they'd take this map. I think they finish it out, but they had to res him so that he could use the Primal. Died with it in his pocket, but that's, as much as that is Mono's play, that's Arc looking on as well, because he gave them that life. They gave them a second chance, very close to the end as well, but unable to get any progress there. 4 minutes on the clock for the Boston Uprising on their best map.
It's a lot of time to work with. Might as well be a fresh start. So here we go, even better. So in terms of strategy, it's not looking like that we're going to see too many changes here from either of these teams. The accepted strategies, Widow Tracer, and it's going to be on Boston now to just make it work.
It surprises me a little that they didn't try just one wrinkle of something, because they had done so on the previous 2 maps. Not anything really out of the ordinary, but just trying one new thing. And especially for this map, I don't think it's the right choice to try to beat Boston at their own game on their best map.
Yeah, so there you go. There you go. That's what happens. You go for the repeat, really? Libero gets rezzed.
Great PO from his diva there to allow that res. They tried to punish it.
Oh, he takes Neko instead of Mistakes. Definitely thought the Mistakes would be the one there, but Neko, he took a bullet for his sniper.
That's
wrong promo.
That wasn't on purpose.
Let's go, though. Jodak does find the kill on Striker to kick things off here. That is going to slow it down as Libero removes Mistakes.
Oh my God!
As well. Libero coming alive here for the New York Excel.
It almost looks like a replay of we saw his play earlier on that defense. It's the same spot. It's getting the team while they're retreating and just popping domes right there.
Got that
3.5 minutes remain for the offense of the Boston Uprising. All the pressure in the world on Boston. This is their map. They've been undefeated on it, and they have to win it to continue this playoff series.
Keep in mind, New York, the defending champs, they've been in this situation before. They know what the pressure feels like. They have the experience. Boston, they lack that. Yes, they're undefeated at this stage. But now this is a new experience, and they're going to have to dig deep here and figure out how to make it work. Saviobi kind of, once again, poking. As soon as he has that pulse up, he's looking for those supports. Gamsu, if you go charging in, that's going to leave your supports vulnerable. Exactly, Saviobi, he's got his eye on the prize.
Saviobi's so good at creating distraction. You know, while you have to deal with Saviobi, Libero's going to be taking shots up there, and they're going to pop Valkyrie into this, and there is a Transcendence as well. It's not Neko's. Neko goes down.
Yeah, Neko goes down, and that's going to be a tough spot here for Kellex to get in and try to get the res off. It looks like he will attempt it, and he will not succeed. It looks like he got denied in the end. Mono leaping all over the place. He's got Primal. Gets the bubble out first just to buy a little bit more time, and that is going to be Neko. He is brought back up by Kellex eventually. We'll have the trans here to keep Boston alive. Now it's about finding the kills, and Mako Z-Mech is not going to help things here for New York. Mono, though, taking the fight to him, removes Neko for a second time. Kellex not going to have res up in time for this one, and Saviobi finally gets what he was looking for this entire time. A killed Mercy.
Finally, and a lot of resources in onto Saviobi to take him down. He's waiting for an orb or a pack so he can actually get in and help his team out. This one is not over by a long shot. They resurrect Libero. Mistakes takes down Jonak, though, so that might be the kill they need. And they're looking for the reset now, actually.
Look at this, though. Mistakes, man. He doesn't hold back. Grapples in, close quarter sniping. That's what he's all about right now. And they will succeed. So with a minute 45, a little bit more here added to it. Once they cap the point, they need a single tick on the B point. So a little bit more than 2 minutes to work with here, and Boston Uprising, they can make it happen. Mistakes has gone for the quick swap. You know, as soon as it's capped, boom, gets the McCree out. We have seen this strategy before.
Libero went to the Sombra for a second, then went on a Genji, perhaps remembering that Boston likes to run this McCree on his second point. Sombra not ideal against him. A Genji can hold his own.
And we saw Mistakes. He's definitely hitting shots. On Nepal, when he was playing McCree earlier, he had some big plays. Oh, trying for it. Gets the headshot, but the recall is there to keep Saviobi alive. We'll be able to make it out of harm's way, and they are going for the deep dive. Gamsu right now is a man on a mission. He is alone, and he eventually gets overwhelmed. The rest of his team not able to back him up in the dive.
They can just pressure this point, though, too. Remember, they only need 33% to take this map away. New York did not get any progress permanently on second point. So far, they're being deflected, still messing around into this one, though. And now they're going to Valkyrie both teams.
Unbelievable. Mono survives. Mistakes, though, with the Deadeye. And Arc gets around the corner just in time to stay alive. Saviobi with the 2 kills. They can turn it around. But they are bringing it back here, Boston. It's tit for tat as Kellex flies high with the bird in the sky. He is going to be the one getting the res off. He is going to be the one keeping the heals going, and he survives it. Neko, though, getting pummeled by Mono right now. Kellex is just doing the best that he can to try and keep him alive, but it's not enough.
Nako is not even going to go near a swimming pool for the next month. He's been knocked into the water by Mono several times. I think that's his third environmental kill on that hero alone. A beautiful hold. 40 seconds remain or Boston will lose this series.
They need to make it.
Oh, sorry.
It'll be a draw, right?
Yeah, no, I misspoke. Yeah, I got hyped. It'll be a draw.
It is going to be the hype situation. But it is going to be still unacceptable as far as Boston are concerned because it is...
It's the
their
map
home
that they have to win. Yeah. Going into Bonnie next if that is the case, but they need to start putting wins on the board.
Figure it out. They may be able to extend it. It is going to be this, the final push. 9 seconds left for Boston Uprising to make it happen. Mistakes is alive. He's looking for shots. He's getting pressured by Libero. Oh no, Nako throws the trance out. If Libero survives, he'll have the Dragon Blade to come in here and start hacking him to bits. We've lost Kelix as well for Boston Uprising, and it could get nastier still. Libero hunting for kills right now. Gets the reflect on mistakes. Looks for Nako as well. Gets him. And it is going to be New York Excel holding in the end. There isn't a whole lot that they can hope to do. There is the self-destruct from Note, but Mako dodges it. And this is going to keep going as Kelix has swapped over to Lucio, only to get back into this fight all the quicker.
They're getting the one kill on a Jonak. I don't think it's going to be enough. Desperation time. The wings will finally fade, but no blood comes through, and it is a draw, but it's got to feel like a victory for New York to not get beaten by Boston on their best map. Now Boston will be 10-0-1.
10-0. We're 10-1-0.
10-1-0. Yeah, it depends on the tie order, however you do it.
However you get it in there. I mean,
still undefeated. Still undefeated.
Technically undefeated and still technically in this finals, Hex. That's what's important. They didn't lose. It isn't a 3-0. It continues now, and New York will have more work to do here on the map coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
now there's going to be that additional pressure here to stand up and get the job done.
You really see teams pushing each other to a higher level.
How do you continue this momentum right now?
It's like a marathon, you know, you got to be ready to go the distance.
When people talk about history, I want to be in that discussion.
It is something that takes an incredible amount of skill to be the best at.
All right, welcome back, everybody, from the break. We're going to be getting into it now. The fourth map of this series. This is a best of 5. Yeah. We are looking for the team to get to the first map of 3, to get the first 3 maps. And so now we may be in a situation if Boston are able to run it back and tie it up 2-2, including the draw, we can get a 6th map.
Yeah, coming up would be Numbani, after that Junkertown, and then the tiebreaker would be Oasis if that is the case. So Boston still keeps their hopes alive, despite what I thought was going to happen.
Apparently everybody thought. Brent, we're looking at you.
But I do want to take a moment to talk about these Tracers in here, because coming into this matchup, they have really interesting stylistic differences. You can see the numbers on the screen and divulge to what you like, but Sabiobi is near the top of the league as far as the percentage of his kills on supports. I think he's only behind Prophet. So he's a support hunting Tracer. Striker, on the other hand, is at the top of the league when it comes to killing tanks. So he's a tank busting Tracer. It's been odd though, because they're both just killing everything right now. Yeah, they're not discerning as far as who they're going to go after right now. It's been so close between those two. And Sabiobi has had those giant moments stepping up on a lot of things. Striker's been relatively quiet in some situations, but consistent and quiet. Janus will come in for Mono on this map as we do move to Numbani. And this next substitution is a bit of a surprise to me.
Yes.
Pine's coming in for Libero.
The big boss is back.
NYXL, I mentioned earlier, they're a Pharah team because they've run far on Numbani before. And now they're going to bring in Pine, who you would have to assume is going to play a Widow. That's his strat here. So a Widow defense can work on this map. We'll see how they choose to use Pine. And I also think maybe they're looking past the first point and they're looking into second and third, because McCree is so good on that last point of Numbani.
That could be it. I'm always excited when it comes to the McCree Pine. That could be it.
They're going to be on offense first here. So we're going to see how this ends up looking. Oh, boo!
All right, then.
Who stepped on the remote?
This doesn't happen very often.
I feel like I've lied to my parents my entire life when I say, no, you can't pause this game. You can't pause. Don't mow the lawn. No, I can't pause.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, oh, but I have a main line to the devs. Hold on, real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, shout out to the logistics team here at the studio, because really, throughout all the years of esports, many pauses were had.
Yes.
Not many of them happened here at Burbank. So shout out to the crew. You guys are awesome. And I'm sure they'll get it sorted out real quick.
And I believe the stream has only gone down once for like 30 seconds. Like ever, the entire time.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Dude, we survived the days of DDoS Hex. Never again.
Don't give these people ideas. Don't give them ideas.
But hey, we'd get more time to banter. So I mean, back and forth, bit of trade.
We win, everyone else loses. Literally everyone else loses.
Oh, well. I mean, we are going to be getting back into the match momentarily, guys. Don't worry.
Some tech issues. It just happens, man. Just pause.
He's got to roll with them. You got to roll with it. It's like, an athlete's shoe comes untied. What's he going to do? Is he going to stop running in the race to tie his shoe?
No, there's actually a great clip. I believe it's Robert Smith, running back for the Vikings in 1998 when they had Chris Carter and Randy Moss. I know I'm boring everyone to death, but he gets his shoe pulled off and he still runs for 80 yards. Touchdown.
Yeah,
it's a great clip.
Man is motivated. Doesn't stop. Shoes? Who needs them? I've got toes. There you go.
Yeah, I've always said toes are nature's shoes.
All right, we just got an update, guys. We should be ready in about a minute's time, so don't worry. We'll be getting into it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the players right now, that's always awkward as well for the players, because you're in that mental zone. You just spent 3 minutes getting focused up again, and then all of a sudden it's like, ugh. So another test here for Boston.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I'm really curious on what they want to do here on Numbani now that we have a little more time. We see that maybe they're going to try the London style where they just really pocket the Widow on defense. The Widow on the offense is super strange. And I do like that NYXL has been trying to do different stuff, except on Volskaya, because Volskaya's meta is just 100% locked
so
in.
Good at it. Yeah. Widow's Tracers, Zen's as well. I mean, dude, Jonak, he is still a monster. We actually got a card to bring up and take a look at, bask in the glory that is Jonak. Because, well, you can see, as far as damage done is concerned, I mean, the man is relentless.
actually not too far behind in a lot of these stats for Neko, and he doesn't necessarily get the full support that Jonak does. The most concerning bit is that bottom number for me, to die nearly twice as much as Jonak. No, Jonak gets all the support in the world, but he also discords and headshots tracers immediately. Like, you take your life in your own hands when you try to dive Jonak. Neko is not the same. It doesn't get the same amount of support from his team. Still holding his own a little bit, though, but New York, Sabiobi is going to go for your supports in the back line. It's going to happen. The Peel has to know that. And when they put Boston in those tough situations, they're just making make a decision. And we saw it on Sanctum as well. Overwhelm the diva so she can't do everything and then exploit what she leaves open.
That's such a horrible position for Note to be in. For diva players in general to be in. They hold your life in their hands. They're the ones deciding who lives and dies. That's terrible, Hex. Who wants to play diva after hearing that?
Yeah, it's a classic Sophie's choice.
Exactly. I am God. No, you're not, Note. Stop it. So, we are going to be getting into it, guys. Countdown is done. Let's get into the action. New York Excel, they're hunting for their trophy. Boston Uprising, they're fighting for their lives. And they are going to be on the defense here. Boston Uprising to kick things off. Mistakes on the soldiers. So a little bit of the vintage defense on the first corner, Nubani.
Just shooting through the poster. Meet Effie. Not going to happen. They're going to try to get Pine set up on this back side, I think. Get him through, maybe go stairs, or he can go all the way far side. You'll see Faraz do this as well because you're expecting people to be in these sight lines. He gives away his position by the shot. Meanwhile, the dive has gone in on the low ground over there, and Sabiobi's there to clean up. And now that all the chaos that dive has caused, Pine has all the room in the world to work. It's that shot. No resurrection available to come in, and they will get absolutely crushed off of first point. Sabiobi's going to make sure they stay back and they get at least 2 ticks.
Yeah, they've got the 2 ticks. No chance here for a re-engage. Not going to happen fast enough. The reses, they're running back from spawn. They're getting beaten up again by Pine, who's continuing to hunt for angles.
And it's just something you don't see as often as just pure dive on Volskaya first, is that Widowmaker, so it catches them a little bit off guard, but Pine hits his shot again, takes down mistakes as the res available. That's some nice movement, though, from Neko to be able to take down Sabiobi in the back line. He has to start winning those 1v1s. They have to leave him alone in some of these situations.
Well, more importantly right now, New York can't get ahead of themselves here. They need to take it a little bit easy because we have been seeing teams really take aggressive defensive positions up here at the bend. Hell, even just spawn camping almost.
Straight up spawn
you can't let it get out of hand, but it looks like New York will stabilize, and that's certainly going to help things. Sabiobi with the kill on Kelix.
Oh, happy little accident right there. A little Bob Ross from Sabiobi because he completely beefed that pulse bomb, but then the calls that Neko's in trouble. He's getting pressured, so Kelix tries to fly back and flies into his pulse bomb.
Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sabiobi with the DMAC on Note. Nope. Gonna deny him the stats.
It's unfair when you're good and lucky. That is just unfair, but he's putting constant pressure on, and Kelix knows that he's going to get pressured down, so his instant response to Sabiobi's on my Zenyatta is to fly back to him and ends up just eating the wrong side of a pulse bomb. Not that there's a right side of a bomb.
I was about to say, that's a spicy.
Unless it's a Claymore.
Exactly, but unfortunately Pulse doesn't work that way. It does have a sticky side somehow, but we're not going to get into the physics of it because right now it is Pine, just putting on a show. Headshot on Striker, could get Kelix as well, who's out in the open, no protection for him. His tank is all the way in the back, and Kelix, that was a bold res. He's going to get punished, of course, by Jonak, and Jonak with the follow-up on Gamsu as well. This is nothing but just utter destruction here. New York powering through 5.5 minutes to push the payload to the 3rd point. That is a monstrous amount of time.
Yeah, what Pine is doing right now is making Boston out of their comfort zone because now they have to run a Widow. They don't have another answer for this. The best answer is our own Widow. So they're really forcing the hand, making them play this game. Mistakes if he had his brothers would rather be on the Genji right now.
Yeah, he'd like to change it, go for the full-on dive, get in there. But it's going to be Pine now. You can see through walls. There will be no hiding. Oh, Striker taking some risks, though. That is definitely on the edge. Gonna find Pine, but with the tank, there's not a whole lot that he can hope to do. Note is looking to put on the pressure, catch him out, and Pine will be able to make it back to his healers, who will top him up again, and well, the fight continues.
Pine time. He's behind the whole team. Meanwhile, Kelix goes down yet again to a self-destruct. Pine has healers in his pocket. He gets all the support in the world. It is the pocket Pine.
You put him, you put Jonak, and you put Arc together, magical things happen. New York, they know it. Jonak decides it's time to trans, keeping him up, but Pine gets caught by Note's self-destruct. That's interesting. Mistakes right now. In a bit of a tough spot. He's getting punched by Janice. And while Janice will be able to back off, and they are making progress with this payload. 4 minutes and counting here for New York to pick up a 3rd point. They're going to have to contest here, Boston. They will have the time to do so, but it is going to get a bit chaotic. No kind of dancing on the edge.
Yeah, there's a lot of free push happening here. It's just Sabiobi and Janice in the back line. They punish mistakes. Now Pine has rejoined the fray. He's on the bottom here. This is a checkmate position if you don't have pressure on it. Look at the peel that comes back. I mean, he's getting pressured by Tracer. There's a Winston there. How do you ever deal with Pine?
No, he's got all the room in the world to work with, but he has lost his main tank. Still, he'll go ahead and take yours too. That's fine by him. Sabiobi gets caught by Neko though, so that could actually spice things up here for New York as they are left with 3 alive, and they decide enough is enough. It's time to back off, although Pine is still gonna get his parting shot.
It's time to leave. Everyone is backed out, and Pine decides that he's got another one yet in him. They're gonna have to wait for Jonak. Jonak is all the way in the back. He's Zenyatta. He's not super fast, except when he is transcending. Then he's Zoomyata. So we'll see how this ends up shaking down. Gamsu has gone over to the Orisa. An interesting play here. It's got to be counterplay, just to set up a shield just so that Mistakes can do that.
There we go. We'll be able to get rezzed up, but that is going to be the res used here by Arc. So now it is going to be exactly Pine setting it up here with the Emphasite. Can now see through walls. There's the bubble, the shield. He has to find a way to work around it. It's looking like he wants to go above the shield now. Nearly catches somebody out. Sabiobi doesn't have pulse, but hey, oh, what a shot from Mistakes. What a save. Well, never mind. He died anyway. Neko is gone, but Kelix will get the res off. And Pine just dominating right now.
It's going to be a scrappy fight if they choose to go in. Pine's actually very far ahead. He's going to get a lot of pockets. Still, you see his healers behind him. Has to bail out. The Orisa has kind of stifled his freedom here. They're going to have to back out a little bit. They're at full fighting force now.
Now Meko just clomping his way back into the fight. He'll get here soon enough. Not fast enough to save Pine. Arc, nice bubble there by Janice to make sure that the res goes off. Pine gonna be able to close that angle off. And now the fight will begin here. All 6 alive for New York Excel. Can they figure out a way to get through this? Well,
watch Kelix. Kelix has to stay alive here because he's gonna need Valkyrie. Both support ultimates are up for the New York XL, and now they find a window here.
Janice is right on top of him though. Sabiobi, he knows that Kelix went around in the corner. There's no way to stop him, and Sabiobi sure enough will find the kill, and he gets Mistakes too. Sabiobi with Pine, hammer and anvil right now. There's nowhere to hide. Beautiful work.
That self-destruct might bring them back into this, though, because it was just about over. That's a beautiful... God, Pine just keeps hitting shot after shot.
He doesn't miss.
It's going to be the last time Neko peeks a Widow like that.
Well, not the ideal spot here, but Pine will find an angle. Exactly, he knows he's on the hunt. Point blank, looking for it. Neko just on the edge, hoping to hit the volley, and he will get the shot in the end. But then there is going to be Meko. It's not going to be enough. Boston with 3 quick kills.
They're gonna res Pine, 90 seconds remain. Pine's still in here. They're in an awkward position. Arc is still in there as well. They're trying to get out now. But Pine is trying to put enough pressure on them that they can safely escape. Mistakes will drop him down. No res available for him. New York needs to regroup with about a minute left here.
Lots of ult charge though for Arc. The important thing, him backing up. Meko was about half HP. He was getting the heals on a Pine too. That jumped them up like 20% right there. So they are in the lead in terms of Valve. There is time to farm it up here. Kelix still fairly far behind in terms of ult, so New York right now is about keeping your cool. Pine, we'll see if he can open things up yet again with that opening shot.
He's been taking such sneaky angles, but it's only sneaky the first couple times. They kind of expect him to be right outside their spawn doors right now.
Missed chance there by Mistakes, that's unfortunate. Now on high, Pine missing it. He's missing 2 shots. Those could have been good opportunities there to remove Neko and start things off strong yet again.
Supercharger is down. They might just wait this one out. You don't really want to push into a team with Supercharger unless you're aggressively going to dive that bongo. They are waiting it out. Mistakes pops his Infrasight, so there's going to be no sneak attacks, no angles that anyone can take without being seen.
Oh, perfectly done. Nice delay. It's going to have to get done the hard way here. Arc has now got Valk though. Kelix still a fair way off of his. So they could just go for the preemptive Valk, lead the way in here. It is going to be Arc going in, yep. Wings come out, the dive goes in. Janice and Sabiobi throwing themselves in there, and Pine and all that chaos finds a kill on Mistakes. Kelix is close enough to get the res, but right now he's trying to keep his tank alive. Looks like he might find the opening right here to go ahead and try and get it off. Yep, and Sabiobi goes for it, takes advantage and takes Neko as well. He's on top of Mistakes. The grapple is gone. Mistakes has got no chance but to run.
The Infrasight helps him so much to set up that kill. I thought he got the Mercy. Instead, he will take the Zenyatta. One clips Mistakes right in the face.
Relentless. And now it's Kelix. Yes, he's got the Valk, but he is alone. There's nobody there. Striker, the last one with Gamsu, trying to hang in, but Gamsu, the focus fire is too good. Neko gonna buy a little bit more time here with the trance, hoping that this will be enough to turn the tide, but it's not looking good for Boston. It's looking like New York in overtime. Yes, will pick up a 3rd point.
Janice pops Primal, gets 2 kills off of it. He's going to beat everyone away. The giant paw swipes through, grabs a couple kills. They will finish out Numbani in overtime. And as much as it was the Pine show, the clutch moments always come through from Sabiobi.
Yes, between the two of them. So even in terms of impact as well. Right now, in terms of damage dealt, they're almost dead even. Pine just a little bit ahead. Final blows, Pine's got 13, Sabiobi's got 12.
I mean, then meanwhile, mistakes on the other side of things. 8 eliminations, 7 final blows, so he just got out-widowed. It's not necessarily his fault. I don't think he was even expecting to play Widow on this map, to be honest.
I mean, that being said, that was capped in overtime, right? New York needed every bit of that time to work with to get the job done. 44 kills for New York, 17 for Boston. So Boston, they were constantly losing players, but they were still able to just delay New York and buy time and run down that clock.
Their stall has gotten so much better throughout the course of the season, the coordination and everything. I mean, this is just super high-level Overwatch. Any mistake one way or another can be defining. I love the Infrasight into Pulse Bomb combo. I think it's so perfect to be able to know where you want to set up your targets there. He had a decent target for the Pulse Bomb, ignored it because he knew there's a better target there. He's able to get the Resing Mercy on the Zenyatta. So, I mean, he got the Zen instead. And Pine, I don't know much more you can say about him. It's the most aggressive Widow play I've ever seen.
Hey, no, he's the king
He's
of
literally
everything, right?
standing outside of their spawn door and shooting them in the back.
That's what needs to happen with the Widow. That's what needs to happen with your sniper. He's got to be the one. As soon as you peek out, you give him a pixel, boom, he's got to hit that shot, and that's got to open it up, and that's got to start the show.
A perfect example was that kill he got on Neko. Neko's charging up the volley. He's looking for it. He knows that he's out there, and you got to punish that. 2-man enter, 1-man leaves. In that case, it was Pine.
It is Pine. All right, let's get into it, guys. Less than 10 seconds now. Everything on the line still here for Boston Uprising. They are not out of this yet. They'll have the time to take the assault here to the first point, and we're going to see, do they stick with Neko on the, are we going to go for Kelix? It is going to be Kelix out on the Mercy. Neko with the boost.
Pure dive, no surprise here. It does seem like New York wants to run a variant of the London defense. Pine's looking for shots now, but he should be rotating back to his supports momentarily. But who knows with Pine? He could go behind them. He could shoot them from another map. I don't have any idea.
Oh, wow. They are not even going to go for the high ground. Instead, they're going to go diving straight in. Gamsu, however, they were ready for it. New York, they eliminate the main tank immediately. Mistakes is on. Well, he's taking some damage on high. You've got Pine hitting body shots. Mistakes. He will get rezzed up, only to die horribly at the hands of Sabiobi.
Josh illustrated it perfect earlier that they don't care if you dive them. New York welcomes the dive. They feel that their peel is just going to be that much better. And they dove that deep, and then Pine's like, oh, no one's coming after me? No problem. I'll just hit some shots from a distance. That's kind of what my hero does. He got in there, able to clean it up. This is super dangerous because it's Numbani, right? 3 minutes. That's 3 pushes for first. And you have to wonder if some pressure's starting to mount for Boston. They have to get some progress here on Numbani, and there's very little time to do it.
Now they've changed it up. It is going to be a bit of the fight here on the high ground now. But the tanks are there, ready to welcome them to the party. New York is definitely looking pretty good, composed right now. Nobody overextending. Instead, it is going to be, yet again, the first kill going New York's way. Jonak finding Neko in all of that mess. And Gamsu decides, well, I need to try and create some space. I need to get in here and have some kind of presence on the point. What does he do? Dies to the hands of Jonak again. Pine is there to remove mistakes. And Boston Uprising, they got to back out of here because Sabiobi will not let up.
They tried to go after Pine. Pine got behind them and was able to take down the Zenyatta. And then Zen got him very low. So the call must have come through that Zen's low. Striker goes after him. And then who shows up at Sabiobi, the personal bodyguard? Completely checks Striker out of there. Pine lives with about 2 HP, gets out of that fight alive. It's just how much protection and peel can one man get? I mean, Pine, it's the entire team works around his Widow, and he makes it worth it for them.
He's a monster. He's reliable. You can count on him. And now, well, New York, look at all these, look at all the ults. They had the 6-pack. They cracked it open. They've used the Infrasight. Great. Now they know where Boston are. And Sabiobi, you can tell. There's his target. Here's who he was looking for. Pulses in, whiffs it completely. That definitely gave Neko a bit of a heart attack.
See if he can actually clean it up while it's happening. Oh. Gets Note out of the mech.
Oh, that was beautiful. Gonna be able to back off as well. Not yet. There's the headshot. Couldn't charge the scope long enough, though, and they are going to go in for the dive. Pine right now. He is the target of choice. Will they remove him, though? In the meantime, Striker and Gamsu are the ones who are coming up with the goods.
That's absolutely huge. They're going to get 2 takes. They're going to bring Sabiobi back into this mix instead. See if he can get back on the point. They might contest. They've got Jonas about to get on there. No, a little too late.
Not able to make it at times. Sabiobi definitely probably thinking that he was there, but Not gonna happen, no contest, and so Boston Uprising with 3 minutes and a half.
Kelix just got fined. Might have been behind, it might be just a cleanup kill there. I didn't necessarily see it, but that's gotta feel good for Kelix. Can charge up that ult a little bit, take down the guy who's been crushing you.
I can kill people too. Every Mercy player ever. Just wishing to be the hero.
Pine's in spawn, he's gonna pop his infosight just for the heck of it. Yeah, it's just probably Pine lurking back here. Hey, you can headshot too. Couple of dinks right there on the Pine. That helps Kelix get towards his Valkyrie, who just got up for the next fight. They also have Transcend here. Mistake's been somewhat quiet so far, but he's got a blade ready to roar.
Yeah, exactly. He can't get it out there. Just waiting for that opening right now. We do have Jonak with the trance, so that might be what he's waiting on. If they can force that out, get rid of that AoE healing so that he can start hacking people to bits. That might be the play, as Striker is taking the point. Just keeping that pressure on there, keeping that position on the payload. Every time New York have to give ground, boom, you're making progress, you're getting meters going. So now it is going to be Striker moving in. Nope, finds Jonak. That's no trance in the mix, so we'll see. Mistakes has got the blade out, and he is looking for the kills. As soon as Jonak is dead, he's looking to take advantage of it, and he does find Pine.
It's a bloodbath. They're trading back and forth right now, but Boston getting the better end of these trades thus far. Only a few remain from New York, and they will continue to push. Pine off of the Widow now finally. He's going to go to the McCree instead. He's got a very, very good McCree. That's how he made his debut. We all know him as this great Widowmaker, but the 5 minutes he put on Oasis was the best McCree I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, for I think everybody.
That's not even hyperbole. Hands down. That was the best 5 minutes of McCree I've ever seen in my life.
And you've seen a lot of Overwatch heads.
It's been a bit.
Now, though, the thing is that we've already had the change, and yes, it is going to prompt it. Pine goes over to the Genji now. When Mistakes shows that he's on the Widow. So some quick thinking here, some quick swaps going through for both of these teams. Boston Uprising now, it's on Mistakes to try and open it up. Do what Pine did. Nako finds Siviobi, though. That's a strong start. Big kill to kick things off. Arco's leaping in. Might be able to get the res off, but instead he's going to choose to just try and keep his teammates alive. Jonak with the trance as well. Has to back Janice up and will get the heals on him, so Janice survives a little while longer. Oh, what a stick!
Absolutely enormous there. They're going to bring Janice back to life. The stick I thought was going to blow up about 4 or 5, but that is Note's job, actually, as he sends his self-destruct in there. Takes down both supports.
But they've backed off so far. Can they capitalize on this? Gamsu, yes, he just throws himself in there. He's got the primal, so he can move quick. Pine and Janice are still alive, though. They're on the high ground, however. And it's looking like Gamsu wants to get in here and get rid of him. Yep. Clean out the attic. Put that box of metal out on the side of the road.
Pine Genji is an interesting play. It's been underwhelming so far in the very short samples of it here. They're pushing all the way through. Can anyone even touch? They barely get there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's all on the line here. 2 minutes and counting. Self-destruct thrown out there by Mako. He's trying to nudge it out into the open. Not going to happen, but he gets that fresh mech. And, well, Gamsu now dropping dangerously low. It's all on Note. He's got the monster self-destruct out in there, but Mako dodges it nimbly. Whereas Nibbles a tank can. Pine, though, will find 1 kill. Mistakes is gone. He gets denied by Striker, but he was so close to taking Nako as well.
They're going to bring Mistakes right back to life, and now they don't have anyone who can dive and pressure him. You need your tanks to be staying on the cart. You can't commit it to even to go back there. They are going to actually send Janice all the way around the back.
And he solos him.
Yeah. Well, that's why Meko is just purely on cart duty right now. He's got the solo heals. Mercy's only job is to stay on Meko, and they will stabilize.
Unbelievable, New York. Minute and a half for Boston, but New York managed to find the kills that matter. They keep it together. And so Janice with that solo kill on Mistakes, that really started the ball rolling. He was able to go and pancake Neko as well. Let's see though, Pine, whew, spicy.
I'm glad he's back on the Widow. I think it's a better hero for him, and it makes Mistakes have to play differently. Mistakes only has to worry about flankers when he's not on the Widow. Now Mistakes has to worry about a lot of stuff in front of him. New York has banked a couple of ultimates and are getting there with their tank ults. Pine just goes after Striker. They forces out the early res. Less than a minute remains. Boston has to close out this map.
Oh, this is it. Getting close to the all or nothing moment. Exactly, he's got him. He's got him in his sights. Let's see. There's Nako trying to go for the 1 clip. Doesn't find it. That's going to throw things a little out of joint here for Boston Uprising, but Kelix has got the belt. Nako out in the middle of nowhere. Pine is dead, but he manages to take 2 with him before it goes down. And Mistakes is going to res up, but he's all the way in the back. Now it's a matter of getting back into this fight. They will have Note with the self-destruct on the point itself. Mako's still here on cart duty, though. Not going to let up on that anytime soon. And in the meantime, Arc and Jonak have died, but Janice finds Kelix. Siviobi could come up with a big play here. If he can take down Gamsu, that's a big tank out of it. And yes, he finds that kill.
The respawn advantage just too much. Pine takes down mistakes as well. They can't bring him back to life. Kelix is over on the Lucio just trying to get back. They need to stall this out, but also get kills.
That's all on it now. You got 4 players here. Note doesn't have a mech either. They are all squishy. Jonak gets the trance in just to try and tip it their way. Meko back into the fight. In the meantime, Sabiobi's found Note. He's found Neko. This could be the Sabiobi moment where he just ends it all for Boston. Takes matters into his own hands with the stick on Gamsu. You're dead. Striker now the last man here for Boston, and it is not looking good. Who is going to make it back? Mistake switch to Sombra, but he can't touch the point. And New York Excel defend their title. They are the stage 2 and 3 champions of the Overwatch League.
As happy can be. Sabiobi came up clutch in that New York state of mind. Boston had a great stage, but New York continues to impress when they need it the most. A 3-0 over 4 maps. They didn't even let Boston win on Volskaya. That's the most impressive part to me. And what I loved about New York was they gave just little bit different looks. So during the regular season, when you see New York lose a map, they're plotting for the end game. They have tried out different stuff, came in with a beautiful plan. Execution was perfect. Congratulations to the New York Excelsior. Ever upward.
Undisputed beasts of the league. They are the monsters that you need to hunt, and well, you just can't catch them because they're ripping your head off every time. Unbelievable performance from New York. They are dominant. And while Boston Uprising, they can feel proud of their performance this stage. Absolutely incredible. The streak that they set out, undefeated in the stage. And while to fall in the finals versus the likes of New York, there's no shame in that. A valuable experience gained for Boston.
Yeah, no shame in that at all. Boston still is going to take second place and some monies home, but that doesn't matter. It's about being the champion. It's about showing dominance. New York has been the best team in the league since day 1 of the Overwatch League. They have taken 2 stage titles. Now, stage 3 champions yet again. I think somewhere the Mercy is still alive for New York. No one dies as a Mercy on that team.
Unbelievable. Well, we're going to hand it over to the boys on the desk. Congratulations to the New York Excel. Let's hear what our analysts have to say about this grand finals.
Keep the chant coming, guys. We got the New York chant here in the crowd. Everyone fired up as the remaining champs come in and defend the throne. We got to give it up for Boston as well, though. 15 matches in a row before finally they get knocked out by the New York Excel. Fellas, instant reactions here. Brent, how you feeling after that series?
That was honestly dumb hype, right? Despite the fact that it was kind of like, it seems one-sided if you look at the scoreline, but the actual games itself, especially towards the tail end, were crazy close between them. Again, I was on the edge of my seat. I wasn't even in my seat the entire game. I was stood up. So it was crazy exciting.
New York Excel look like they are at their absolute peaks right now. This was great performance coming out from them. I don't think Boston was underperforming in this match. I don't think LA Valiant was underperforming particularly. This was NYXL at the best I've seen them. They had counter strats, they had clutch plays, they had just amazing positioning. Truly worthy defenders of the stage champions.
New York defends their title as officially the best team in Overwatch today. And right now we got Zoe down on the floor with our Stage 3 champions.
We do indeed, Pocket. Please give it up for NYXL. They did it again. Now let's talk about this. The only team which managed to defeat you guys this stage was the Boston Uprising. And now today, on this very stage, in the finals, you got your revenge when it mattered the most. How does that make you feel?
우리가 약간 힘없이 패배했었는데 우승해서 너무 기분 좋고요. 뭐 말하고 싶은 말해도요? I'm a best tracer in the world.
All right. All right. Definitely, I don't need to translate the second part. I don't need to translate the second part, but the first part, it really does feel good to get my revenge on the Boston Uprising. So thank you so much.
Well, it was a well-deserved victory, a dominant performance from you and your team, and yes, you are the best tracer in the world. Now, one last question. Anything you want to say to your fans out there who have been cheering for you?
너무 고맙고요. 그냥 I love my fan.
Excelsior fans, thank you guys so much for supporting us, and I love you guys.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure that's mutual. Sabiobi and the whole team, congratulations and thank you so much. What a great final. So let's break down the action over at the desk.
Thank you so much, Sully. What an incredible finish. New York come out unscathed. They didn't drop a single map in the grand finals. That draw was pretty close though, boys, but we do have one more thing to do here as we close out stage 3, and that, of course, is crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP, for your stage 3 championship. Your player of the match is Sabi Olby.
Undisputed there. He's reclaimed his crown as the best tracer in the league now. It was looking a bit shaky, you know, after Boston ended up taking the win against New York Excelsior, but I think without a shadow of a doubt now, Sabi Olby, this guy had a ridiculous series. He pulled out ridiculous clutches on Volskaya, a map that they didn't even win, it was just a draw. Still, he picked up a 5K on the first point. They still couldn't end up taking it, but regardless of that, he had a ridiculous game throughout this entire series. All in all, again, worthy of the title, was the best tracer in the league, in my opinion.
An incredible player, both on the Widowmaker you saw in Nepal. You were talking about his clutch performance here.
Yeah.
That pulse bomb at the end onto Kalex to stop the Boston Uprising from winning in that time bank round, and then just goes on a tear all throughout. Sabi Olby, what a superstar for the NYXL. It's a team full of superstars.
It really
Jonak
is.
as well was going wild. Mano had a huge performance, but Sabi Olby, the man of the match for sure.
Every game needs their face of the sport. I think Sabi Olby is ours right now. He is the face of the Overwatch League, the best tracer in the game, and one of the best personalities we have in the industry right now. Fellas, great stage, probably the best stage we've seen. The stage 2 finals say it was a little bit better than today, but overall, I feel like this is the highest level of Overwatch we have seen.
Agreed.
And we still have one more stage to go. Best part of this stage for each of you, though. Brent, starting with you.
I just love that we've seen two teams really elevate the level of Overwatch we've seen. Boston Uprising, New York Excelsior, they're both playing to each other and really elevating the level of gameplay we've seen. It's been a long while since we've seen a level of Overwatch like this, where they've been pushing each other and pushing each other. But I think in this finals today, we finally saw it. We got a glimpse of it, of what real, like truly micro level Overwatch was. So I was super excited for that.
Incredible teamwork. Josh, final thoughts on the day.
I think the NYXL have stepped up and proven that they are the best team in the world, but the Boston Uprising can sit very happily at second place. They have proven that there's a gap between them and everybody else in the rest of the league, and nobody would have expected the Boston Uprising to be in that top 2. They can look forward, as all the teams will, to stage 4 and then the overall playoffs, because I think they're well on their way to cementing a spot.
I want to say a big thank you to all the fans that tuned in, not only here live in the Blizzard Arena. Keep your Sour Patch Thunder Sticks, guys. Those are a special treat. But also everybody tuning in online. Remember, that does it for Stage 3, but we're coming back Stage 4. It's May 16th. Tonight, we're closing out the show with an awesome AMA. We got the entire New York Excelsior team, so get your All Access Pass on twitch.tv, and we'll see you for Stage 4.